Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SpawnCast episode, is this 87, Evan?
87.
87, all right, see, I was right that time. We're going to have some fun tonight because there was a lot of stuff that happened this week that was kind of all over the place. So we're gonna go over all kinds of topics after we talk about the games we've been playing. But we do have Max here. Max is actually going to be leaving about an hour, so 10 my time, to go do a few personal things. But he's with us for an hour. So how you doing tonight, Max?
Man, living the dream. I am up to my eyes in games to play, which is a great problem to have.
Yes, that is a good problem to have. Then we have Evan, of course. Evan's with us tonight. How's it going, Evan?
All right, pretty tired, but chugging along.
Cool. And then we got Nate. Nate's back with us. What's going on, Nate?
Not too much.
How close are you to that 10,000 mark, sub mark?
About 700 shy.
Okay. So you're getting there, because that means that at that point you can at least apply for the Nintendo ambassadorship is the idea, right?
Yeah, that's what Nintendo told me. Whether or not that figure will remain true when the time comes remains to be seen. But hopefully,
they seem to make that pretty public. Like everyone seems to talk about that. So I guess that is the actual mark. I don't think I was a Nintendo ambassador until I was with Screenwave, like 30 or 40,000. So I assume it's 10,000 though.
I'm not even a Nintendo ambassador.
Yeah, Sean's not. You should at least apply for one, Sean.
No.
10,000 is when they said okay for me. So, but I was at 15,000, I think. Like I applied when I was at 10,000, and then
we also have he called it in the chat, Modern Vintage Gamer. He's actually that's a pretty fun channel to go watch.
It's super good.
Yeah, he has a lot of interesting stuff on there. So
yeah,
it's a good channel. I've been trying to get him on here for a bit. We just haven't linked up yet, but we'll get him on here because I wanted to ask him about kind of the modding scene with some of the consoles like the Switch and the Vita and all that stuff. He's more the homebrew side. He's actually written emulators and everything for him. Actually, I think I used one of his emulators on my OG Xbox back in the day when that was opened up and hacked back in like the early 2000s or 2003 or 2004. That might've been. And then we have OJ. OJ's with us. What's going on, OJ?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes. Sean's with us. What's going on, Sean?
Oh, tired, man. I did a bunch of damn videos today. I didn't even expect to do that many. I uploaded 3 videos. I got 1 video that's waiting on approval, and now I'm doing a podcast. It's like full bore today.
Yeah, man, it's good stuff. Then Rob's back on the SpawnCast.
Yes, yeah. Thanks for having me back. Living the dream, and like we were just talking about, enjoying that sweet new laptop that you helped me pick out. So
yeah, you're gonna let me know how the editing is on that compared to your old one. That's what I'm really curious about.
I am beyond excited. I'm gonna hopefully go from like 2 to 3 hours average render time to like 10 minutes.
Yeah, ask Max about that. Max got his new computer and he was like, "Why don't you guys tell me what rendering time is actually like?"
Yeah, I've wasted so much. It used to take about an hour to render one of my 10-minute rants at 720p, and now I can render one of those rants in about 11 minutes.
Dude, it's so visible. Max, you make so many more videos than I do, so I don't know how you live that way, man. I'm so excited.
I would just keep my Switch in front of the computer, and I'd press render, and I'd literally just wait for it to not crash, and be like, okay, I'm looking busy.
Yeah, actually, what's funny with your new laptop, Rob, you'll actually be able to use it while it's rendering as well.
That sounds like totally made up fantasy. I don't believe it until I actually do it.
Like I use my computer all the time when I'm rendering. I don't even care. I'm just using it, watching stuff, and
I pretty much feel like I would start rendering and be like, make movie, and I would step away slowly and hope that no fire starts.
That's what I do.
Yeah. You'll like it. It's gonna be pretty neat. You'll have to let me know that is, because I actually might get one of those laptops too. Mine's getting a little older, and I might want to upgrade it. So
yeah, I'm pumped. So.
Oh, very good. So let's just go into what we've all been playing. I've been playing a couple games, but let me hear what everyone else has been up to. Warframe. Is that? Yeah. Everyone's been playing Warframe. It came out free to play on the Switch.
It's amazing. Like I completely missed out on it because I was out of town and I couldn't download it or anything. And I was like, oh, it's probably all right. It's probably cool. And then when I got back, I downloaded it, and it's really like all I've been playing. I actually played a lot of random stuff over Thanksgiving. Like I finally beat Batman the Telltale game, and like the whole time I played it, like I just sat there wondering, like, can I please get a Batman Arkham Trilogy on the Nintendo Switch? Like, whose ass do I have to kiss to get that? Because I will gladly do it. I don't know. I want more Batman games on the Switch.
That'd be WB.
Right? I feel like I could, Remember they had the frog? It's the WB. Got rid of
Well, they
him.
put up Lego games on there.
That's true.
They might. You never know. You never know. If the money's there, they could look at it. It depends.
I beat that. I played a bunch of NBA 2K over the break just because it's a fun game to play. I don't know. I like sports games. I played more Mario Odyssey. I hadn't played Mario Odyssey in a long time. I wanted to get some of the moons that I hadn't gotten because I never like 100%ed the entire game or whatever. So I played some of that. But then when I got back, like Warframe, like it's crazy. Like I'll just be like, all right, I'm going to play like 15, 20 minutes. And then like literally like 5 hours goes by and I'm like, shit, like I need to do something else. So yeah, a lot of Warframe. Sega Genesis Classics Collection. I played that a lot over the break too, just because it's always fun. And I didn't buy a single thing on Black Friday, but I did give a gift.
Oh.
My cousins, because I was up in Connecticut, my cousins like got the honor roll or some shit, and I was like, "Great, I'm gonna unload Super Mario or Mario Party on them." So I gave them. Mario
that's
Party.
not a kid. No, I'm just kidding.
Because there's two of them, and
okay.
they share the Switch, and literally like within 10 minutes of playing it, they got more enjoyment out of that than I had my whole time with the game, and I was like, "Yo."
That's because they're in that phase we were when we were like really young, and Mario Party on the 64 was awesome. Even though it didn't have online, that's basically what that's essentially what that game is. It's still old school Mario Party, just doesn't have the good online.
Right. So they enjoyed it, but yeah, just a lot of Warframe.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Evan, are you excited that everyone's playing Warframe now?
It's all right. At the tier I am of that game right now, there are a lot of bugs, so hopefully they get ironed out before you guys start to get there, which would be nice for you. But I've also repicked up Mario Ace.
I was going to ask you about that
yesterday.
I saw you on Twitter talking about it. What happened exactly? What was the patch?
They added doubles for tournament mode, which is super fun. My buddy should be getting it soon, so I'll actually have an actual duos partner. They also added the next co-op mission, which is just 4 Yoshis trying to get a high score. You can get different colored Yoshis and stuff. But yeah, it seems pretty cool. They tweaked a couple of the characters for a little bit more competitive type patching. But we'll have to see what happens after that point. They added Piranha Pete and Shy Guy as characters.
See, that's a video. I would watch that video from you, Evan. Update for Mario Tennis. What's good? Just because we can do that now because Nintendo doesn't claim that stuff.
Yeah,
right.
Free world.
Can't wait till we do the 4-man Smash video we're hoping to do.
Yeah. Y'all let me know. Let me know.
That's cool. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I was gonna say I saw you playing Aces, and I was like, oh, okay, interesting. Maybe I'll check that out again too, just see some of the updates they've done. Because it was fun when it came out, but it kind of fell off after a little bit because not a lot happened. But was it just that in Warframe for you, Evan?
Mostly, yeah.
Okay. You got that monitor review coming up, so you've been kind of busy.
Yeah, I had to re-record that today, so because I changed everything up about it. So I'm gonna try to edit it.
I have a question since a lot of you guys, everyone's loving Warframe right now. I've also been like just barely dabbling in it, and it is like a good game, and it's a super impressive port. But I'm just curious, am I the only one that finds that game like super menu and text heavy and like almost overwhelming?
It's meant for PC, and it's super easy on PC to navigate those menus.
Really?
But the translation to consoles definitely leaves a lot to be requested.
It's crazy. I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many menus and options and just this and that. Every time I add a new thing to like my hub ship, I kind of was like almost starting to sweat. Like there is a lot going on here.
Yeah, like that's honestly why I don't usually play games like MMO games and shit like that, because like I just get overwhelmed. But I don't know, like I didn't feel super overwhelmed with with Warframe quite as much, just because honestly, like I've put like literally like in the past 3 days, I think I've put like 35 to 40 hours into the game. Like it's not healthy. But
wait till later, definitely.
But like I've just been what I've been doing is like I've just been sticking with the things that I know and I completely understand, and like that seems to be helping me a lot. Like there's so much other stuff that's going on in the game that I haven't really like even like fully explored, like the PvP stuff. Like I started playing that last night and I was like, holy shit, there's so many different things you could do in the PvP mode. Like this is crazy. But I'm like, nope.
Did you play Lenaro in there, the Rocket League Ninja mode?
No, but I saw it and I wanted to. I'm probably gonna try it tonight. But yeah, like if you just sort of stick with like the core stuff, and the main thing I do is with the mods, I auto assign them. I let the game decide what the best mods are for me.
That'll work until you've got about 20 to 30 mods to pick for each thing, because then you need to min max or you're not going to be doing a lot.
Okay.
See, and I've heard that that's a game that you play for the long haul. That it's like a super big barrier of entry, and down the road, once you've played it for like 50 or some odd hours, it starts to kind of all sort of gel together. And the mod thing is tough though, because I probably should try the auto mods like you are, but I'm like so crazy OCD with that stuff. I feel like I want all control over everything I change. And because there's so much to dive into, it's like really hard to kind of get myself motivated. But I will say, like, the gameplay is so good that it is the kind of thing, like you said, Sean, you can kind of just like close your eyes to the crazy shit and just like barrel forward in like the gameplay part. And it's good. Like it is definitely good. I just wasn't sure if I was the only one freaking out over all the menus and text.
Well, the craziest thing about Warframe is it's free. Like it's free. It's literally free, and it's like the best looking third-party Switch game. And there's like in-game text chat and in native voice chat. It's like it's free. How are you doing this? Like I don't know. That's the biggest mystery to me.
The game first came out, is it 2013? Does that sound right?
Yeah,
PC, yeah, and then went to the PS4 in 2014.
And it's crazy because that means it predates Destiny, and like people have drawn comparisons to Destiny, but playing it, I was actually shocked how similar to Destiny it really was in a lot of ways. And I was like, okay, wait, I need to know which game came first, because they're both good, but they're so similar in their structure. And I don't know.
Dude, I love the auto party system in that so much. It's one of those games that does it correctly, where it's like if I'm going into a mission, I can just randomly get a party member, and they're really good, and sometimes they'll talk to you and sometimes they don't. But it's really cool that and then when you leave the mission, they're still in your party and can then vote on future missions.
Yes.
So I love that I can
cool.
just literally do like do a 4 or 5 quest chain with just a bunch of strangers. That's super legit.
At higher level, that does get a little annoying because you do not have control over kicking people. So if you're trying to run specific missions with one friend and then somebody keeps trying to drag your party elsewhere, you have to basically leave and reform every time.
Can you limit your party to just people you
can limit it to only friends lists. You can limit it to solo, which actually adjusts the gameplay a little bit. It's still online, but you can pause it.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Really damn good port, man. They did a good job for sure.
The graphics blew me the fuck away. Like the particle effects and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, like this is nuts. This is insanity.
You can turn them off too. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
there's a lot of options. Yeah, that was something I'd sent a tweet about this too, because when I first started playing, I was like, okay, it's cool. It's kind of like Destiny. Like I see what's going on, but I struggled with, like a lot of different control options, and I hated like how close the camera was to my character and stuff. And once you dive into the menu options, there is so much to do, and it does give you like a PC level of control over like bloom effects and what is the distance sort of blur and all that stuff, and it was pretty cool. Inclusion, really neat, really cool what they did there.
Yeah, Nate, you actually took like straight up footage of the handheld mode, and you said that actually looked really good.
Yeah, it's weird when you play in handheld mode for like the single player stuff. It looks a lot crisper than it does when you're online. Has some weird like cloud effect to it, but I mean it's still pretty impressive for what the Switch is in tablet mode.
I was surprised because you sent that footage over and I looked at it. I was like, wow, okay, that's handheld mode. Wow, it's actually really good, even though it's like captured from obviously the lower setting compared to docked mode. Still looks good. I give him credit. Looks good. Panic Button did a good job. And apparently when we talked to them, because we were talking to them, Evan, the Digital Extremes guys, they said that Panic Button was going to stay on to do updates going forward.
Yeah, because they need to make sure that stuff goes through. They still have to iron out some things. Apparently there's a crash if you play the Excalibur suit and you use his sword. Occasionally it'll crash. There's a crash going from Cetus into the open world that happens occasionally just due to how much it has to unload and then reload.
They're very open to feedback and bugs, so send those in if you experience them. They're very open about all that stuff when we were talking to them, so it's good to do that. What else? OJ, what you been playing this week?
Playing a lot of Warframe. Definitely played that. When my brother was here for Thanksgiving, that's the reason why I wasn't here. I was just a lot of family stuff, but we were playing Warframe, like we were playing co-op like crazy. So that was a lot of fun. But I also got my hands on the alpha backer demo for Temtem. That's the Pokemon clone. I was playing that on the channel, and it's definitely like hardcore Pokemon clone, but it's the best Pokemon clone that I've played.
That's an alpha right now, right?
Yeah, alpha. They for if you did like the Kickstarter,
Okay. Okay.
You download that. So I played it, streamed it for about almost 3 hours, 2.5 hours or so, and I actually really like it. It runs really good. It's smooth, even for out. There's like straight 60 frames per second. It's on the PC, just like the demo. So I was playing that, and what I like the most about it is kind of how they switch up things a little bit in battle. It's like pretty much all doubles. Like even if it's just like a single Pokemon that like you're out in the like wild Pokemon battle, you just throw two out there no matter what. But it's just because of how they've changed up the stamina system compared to like what Pokemon uses. Pokemon use PP, and sometimes there's like a lot. Some moves will have 30, 40 and all that, but this one, it's all based on stamina, and it's a little bit more precious to stamina. Like you don't like, you have to use more, and some moves take like a little bit of time to get ready. So there's a lot more strategy, in my opinion, that's involved just from the beginning parts. We need to wait and see once we get more Pokemon, but just like the base strategies are definitely a little bit more than Pokemon.
Dude, this is definitely Pokemon. I'm looking at this. It looks like for Alpha Access, it's $30 the pledge at the minimum to get that.
Yeah, $30. So yeah, that's what I pledged. I pledged $30. I was so impressed with the what they showed me with Temtem. I was like, I gotta pledge this $30. I've only pledged to 2 Kickstarters. So Castlevania, or not Castlevania, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, and this game Temtem. So I'm actually really liking it. I played a little bit more later after I was done with the stream. So I'm enjoying it so far. And it's like, there's like a lot of cool stuff. Like they call like your team, they call it squad, like it's like little things here and there. They give you like all like the hardcore stuff, like the EVs and IVs, all that stuff is known. They list it for you. So they're definitely looking, it's Pokemon, definitely Pokemon. I mean, there's breeding, you can tell like their fertility, like they go hardcore with
those like the platforms. They have Steam, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One as their target platforms.
Yeah, it's coming to everything. It's coming to everything. But from what I played, it was really fun. It was really smooth, and I'm looking forward to it coming out in 2019. I'm definitely gonna buy it. Hopefully there's a physical copy. But just to let you guys know too, there's gonna be like Nuzlocke. Everyone's always talking about like Nuzlocks. Like they have Nuzlocks built into the game.
Yeah, so, I heard that. I saw it on the video. Yeah.
Yeah. They have that built in, and there's gonna be tournaments, and it's pretty much like a MMO. Like you can battle against anybody in that area that you're at. You can battle against anybody that you want. You can trade with them right then and there. It's pretty cool. You can see them walking around or like running around and capturing Pokemon and stuff. And people come back and re-challenge you. Even if you've been down a route, they'll come back and re-challenge you, and they'll catch new Pokemon in that. They'll catch new Temtem. I don't know. I caught myself. I think I swear I said Pokemon instead of Temtem like a million times during my stream, and like my chat was making fun of me because I kept on saying Pokemon instead of Temtem. But anyway, yeah, Temtem. They'll catch new Temtem. So I mean, it seems like they took the formula of Pokemon and just said, "Hey, we're just gonna go like hardcore with it." So it's the best Pokemon clone that I've played in a while. So
isn't Etika in the game as well?
Etika's hairstyles in the game. Yeah, basically.
I saw their tweet. Yeah,
that's funny. What? That's funny.
That was cool. That was actually cool. But I was kind of like, man, like Shofu, who's a big Pokemon guy, like he's been promoting and hyping you guys' game forever. You guys didn't give Shofu any love. All right, that's cool.
It sounds like they're a pretty, I guess, a small team that's obviously has their ear to the ground. Maybe they will.
Yeah, small team in I think Spain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, interesting. All right, very cool.
Oh wait, I forgot a game.
Okay, what's that?
Horizon Chase Turbo. Holy shit.
Dude. I've played about 12 hours of that.
Yeah, I still have to download that. They actually sent me a code for it. I still need to check it out.
It's so good. It has some of the best retro music ever. So I played that a lot over Thanksgiving. I installed it before I was hanging out with family, and just playing that handheld is so addictive.
So smooth too.
Yeah.
Well, I got to play Ark.
Oh, nice.
Really, I heard there was really good graphics in that game. I heard that graphics were the best on the Switch for a third-party game. Am I correct?
Dude, this game looks terrible. Oh my gosh, it's so bad. I don't know what they were doing here. It is not good looking. It's Unreal Engine too.
I was at this problem. I was at the store today, and they had a big commercial for Ark on Switch, and I noticed that they used the live action trailer where it shows like a bunch of actors running around fighting dinosaurs, and at the end it says "now on Nintendo Switch." I'm like, yeah, you can't show any gameplay, can you?
The problem is one of the trailers that they have up, and I talked to Nate about this for a minute when I saw it. It actually shows gameplay footage, and it is not the right gameplay footage. It is not. Yeah, I looked at that. I was like, that's not what the game looks like. Come on.
Well, was it like the PC version or something that just wasn't Ark?
Well, no, it zoomed out. It showed the Switch itself. And then in like the little screen part, it showed it playing. I was like, that's not
so it was the YouTube app.
That's not the game. So it looks very bad. It's $50 too. There's a lot of there's a lot of better stuff you could buy on the Switch for $50 than that. So I would not buy that. In fact, what I would buy is Monster Boy, because that is
everyone's raving about
All right.
Monster Boy, man.
So Monster Boy, I'm almost done. It comes out the 4th. I'm almost done with the game completely. I actually think I'm going to end up getting 20 hours out of the game, which is pretty good for a platformer, but it's an open world Metroidvania style platformer, and it's based on like the Wonder Boy series. And so you have a bunch of different monsters you transform into, and they all have different abilities. You buy weapons, you upgrade your weapons, you get little heart containers that, you know, max out your hearts as you go. So it has like kind of a Zelda, Metroid, Castlevania, Symphony of the Night kind of feel to it all the way around. And it is really good. It's going to be $40. So you're going to have to figure out if you really like platformers, but they're going to have a physical copy for PS4 and Switch as well. But it's on everything: Steam, PS4, Xbox One, Switch. And I recommend everyone go pick it up because it's awesome. It actually works really well with like the SNES or the SN30 Pro that I picked up that I'm reviewing. That it works really well with that D-pad too. But outstanding game. It's very good. The hand-drawn visuals are great, and it actually scales pretty well to a 4K monitor like I have here. But if you have like a 1080p screen, it's going to look really good on that. So everyone should go pick it up. That's the 4th, actually, December 4th. So Tuesday. FTG is doing that. But that's been in development for years.
Yeah, I saw. Didn't they get sued like 30% through development, and they had to redo the art style or something? Where it was originally going to be a different series.
I think they couldn't use Wonder Boy's name for some reason.
It was Sega. Sega pulled out or something, so they had to redo everything they'd done except for the core programming or something.
Yeah, they had to change it to Monster Boy, and then they decided they decided in October that they were going to go to hand-drawn visuals, so they delayed it and everything. So everything's like all the character models, the enemies and stuff. It's all hand-drawn. It looks amazing. It's nice, bright, and vibrant. It looks really, really good on display, but it controls really well too. It's 60 frames per second, straight up, 1080p, 720p on the Switch, 60 frames. So I don't know if it's 4K on the other systems. I'm not sure, like the Pro and the X, but 720, 1080, 60 frames, no hitches. I'm happy. Works well. That arc we did some Warframe, and then Darksiders 3.
Oh yeah, man! I beat that for a review. That was better than I thought it was going to be. Very Dark Soulsy, but yeah.
I'm still playing it. It's you played it on the PS4, right?
Yes, I beat it on PS4. Yeah.
Yeah, there's something wrong with the game. I can't figure out what's wrong with it. I emailed them and they don't know either. So maybe they're patching it or something. The frame rate's all over the place. It's weird. It hitches at the weirdest times. So it's not even always in combat. So I don't know what the deal is there, but it felt very Dark Souls like when I was playing it. But
the early reviews haven't really been too good for that, and I was actually really excited.
It's very strange. It has a lot of design problems, in my opinion. One of them being that every single area is very much like a giant pretzel, and you kind of like solve 15 puzzles. Yeah. So in the end, the entire level is like 15 feet, and I'm not even exaggerating. Like a lot of times it turns out you're right next to the last boss of that area, but you end up going here and climbing up here and discovering you need to bring down these areas, and then you have to go underground. But it's very, very weird level design. Fun as hell combat though.
What did I tell you, Max, when I was playing it and I was talking about it before the reviews? I was like, this game feels overwhelmingly average.
Yeah,
so it's my
fear too.
Did you like the other Darksiders games, Rob?
I did, yeah. I thought they were both really good.
You'll like this one then.
Yeah.
If you like Darksiders, you'll like this.
Depending on the reasons you like the first two, because they did lose a massive chunk of their team.
I think I still think the first one was the best one. People say the second one. I think it was awesome. I think the first one was outstanding. Yeah.
There were mechanics in the second one that would have been awesome in the first one, but definitely overall though.
Yeah. Level design, obviously the dungeons and everything was really cool, but
that's what was cool about it. And you had like the hook shot kind of thing, and it was because I remember it was billed as like a Zelda kind of clone, but only different and more demon like. And it was like I played it and I was like, hey, it's actually exactly like that, and it was really good.
A lot more abilities this time. That's actually what I like, is that you really, you get like the fire abilities, you can walk around in lava, you get electric abilities, you can basically hover like Storm. And so there's areas that have like updrafts, so you actually have to fly around carefully. Very cool.
It might still be on for review codes, Rob, if you wanted to pick one up.
Yeah, terminal.
Yeah, it might still be on terminals. But otherwise, honestly, I could see that being a game that drops in price rather quickly, just to be honest. I don't think it's going to stay at $60 for very long.
Seems to be a trend lately.
I will tell you this, Rob. pick it up on your PC, on your laptop.
Hey, I can play good games on my PC now. All
And I'm gonna
right.
tell you why. It's gonna run better on your laptop.
Okay,
Will.
it sounds like it.
Yes.
And before I was only playing like Telltale games on my PC, and that was it. Telltale and Diablo 3 was like the only things I would put on it. So
You should be able to max out Darksiders 3 without too much issue.
sweet.
So
Love it.
I would grab that and get 60 frames out of it. So
Nice.
yes, because it's like 30 frames with a ton of hitches on the Xbox One X. So I don't know what happened there. I just don't think I don't think that, you know how they have to have like a Pro and an X patch. I just don't think they have it. So I don't know. I sent them a message and they were like, we'll look into it, and they just didn't get back to me. So I don't know. We'll see if they come out with one later on. But I think those are all the games I mostly played this. I didn't check out Red Dead Online. I should have checked that out.
It's weird. It's very weird. I like it. It has a very broken currency system though. The premium currency is super overpriced.
Yep, that's what I heard. I heard it's overpriced and very grindy to get it. Like 6 to 8 hours for a gold bar.
Well, so yeah, somebody calculated basically there are gold nuggets and there's gold bars and something like horse insurance. So every time your vehicle gets destroyed, it'll come back. Yeah. So every time your horse gets lost, though, and they're very difficult to train. Okay, everyone's just going to laugh. Okay.
There's horse insurance?
Just like car insurance, in that if you spend hundreds of hours training, equipping, and caring for your horse, you need it to do every mission, to do every assignment, to do every race. Well, the problem is if you get horse insurance, it basically makes it where anytime your horse is stolen or shot by an asshole, it'll automatically respawn. The thing is, getting horse insurance, which is one of the most expensive things, costs 50 gold bars. One gold bar is 100 gold nuggets. The average race, everyone's saying it just crashed. Everyone's saying,
did our stream crash?
Uh-oh.
It says live over here.
Yeah, it says live. It doesn't say an F. Rip.
Did it die? Did our stream give up?
Oh, I think so. Everyone's paying F. Everyone's respecting.
Yeah.
I
Everyone
think
said it gets not enough likes.
YouTube's live streaming just
Yeah,
check
everyone's saying it's crashed.
It should stop and then restart, like stop the broadcast thing here and then try to restart it. We're back.
Good. Well, real quick, since everyone's going to be joining in here, skipping past horse insurance, I did want to say the other two games I've been playing is I have a big review ready for Monday all about Just Cause 4. It's going to be up Monday morning. I've been playing a ton of that. I beat it. It is just as chaotic as you can imagine. And then a more ultimate video will be ready probably Thursday or Friday.
What can you talk about any of it, or no, you're under embargo?
For which one?
Just Cause 4.
Just Cause 4 is really good. Yeah, I can talk a lot about it. I can't give you like a review score or anything like that until Monday morning. But it's man, they took out a lot of the upgrade system, and I think that was a smart choice. You don't have to do the gears anymore. You don't have to like slowly do challenges. The big thing in that game, they made it where you could steal any vehicle. So I literally stole a jet ski and I'm driving along through a swamp, and then I got a 747 and I'm flying a freaking jet around, and then I stole literally walked through a construction site and stole a tractor and started bulldozing all the construction workers to be a jerk. I mean, just anything. It's so crazy.
That was you're playing that on PC, right?
Yes, I'm playing on a PC. It's the first time I'm having to do it, but it came out well. I beat it all. I basically, because I couldn't record the PC footage very cleanly, what I ended up doing is plugging it into the laptop and recording footage on the laptop from my computer.
Oh wow, okay.
But it worked.
That's not bad, right?
Yeah, it came out freaking crazy, especially the big super hurricanes that start showing up towards the end of the game. Those look crazy on there.
If you guys are joining back in, I have no idea what happened with YouTube. It just like gave up for some reason. But we're back.
5-minute break.
Yeah, we're back. So if anyone I guess asks on Twitter or anything, just let them know we're back here. But I tweeted it back out. So we're good there. I'm gonna check out Just Cause 4. I don't know if I'd get a review code for it, but I'm gonna be checking it out because I didn't like 3 as much. I'm hoping 4 is better.
It just feels like 3 done right. Honestly, that's all it is. It sounds like they were just like, oh man, we screwed up with this. Let's fix it.
Let me go to Nate to finish up what we've been playing. Anything good this week, Nate?
I have been playing a lot of different Switch games, which surprisingly no one on the stream so far has mentioned. I have been playing Everspace for Switch.
Oh, is that out now?
No, review code's out, but it's under embargo until like the 11th or 12th.
It was pretty good on PC. Hopefully most of that stuff rolled over for you guys.
I forgot about that game. Is that on? Let me see.
It's on Terminal.
Oh, there you go. See, I'll ask them for one.
And the highlight that I've been playing on Switch for the last week, and it's under embargo until next Thursday, so December 6th, is Battle Princess Madeline.
That shit looks good.
Yeah,
it's like Ghosts and Goblins inspired, and this game is so good.
Is that also on terminals?
No, it's some UK PR firm who's handling it.
I think that's pretty far off still, isn't it?
No, it comes out the 6th.
Yeah, it comes out the 6th.
Whoa. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, I want that game.
Yeah, I'm playing it like right now as I'm talking.
I want that game. So
how does the difficulty compare to Ghosts and Goblins?
This game will brutally kick your ass on the first level.
Okay, probably gonna avoid that then. Yeah.
I mean, it has an arcade mode and a story mode. So story mode, you go through levels and stuff. Arcade mode is just here's the stage, boss, next stage, boss. So story, you don't have things like double jump. You won't have certain skills made available to you. You have to earn them as you defeat bosses and unlock stuff. In arcade mode, it's just like Ghosts and Goblins. You just go through a stage.
Okay.
But, I mean, this game's hard. It looks amazing on the Switch. It's plays well. It's awesome.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna check that out. And get in contact with them. But that's a game I definitely like to showcase a bit on the channel, just because it looks awesome. And sometimes those games kind of get looked over, you know. So, I'll be checking that one out, especially since I'm almost done Monster Boy. That seems like a good one to jump to after Monster Boy. I'll be checking that out. I'm also curious about Everspace, but definitely Battle Princess Madeline. That's the one I want to play.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's get into some of these topics with the VGA predictions. So Video Game Awards is next. Video Game Awards is next week. Next week, the 6th. Yes, and it sounds like it's going to be like a mini E3 from what we're seeing. More than they said 10 plus. I'm just going to say 10 new game announcements. Games we have not heard about are going to be announced there. Now, like some of them could be smaller indies, but it sounds like some of them are going to be from companies like Obsidian. Koei Tecmo is announcing around that time. I don't know if it's at the Video Game Awards. They said the 6th. Weird.
It's unrelated.
It's unrelated. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be before because of the way that the time works in Japan. So we're going to get whatever Koei Tecmo is announcing before the Game Awards.
So then 11 games are going to get announced that day. Then there you go. Around that time, that's cool because that could be Ninja Gaiden. I want that to be Ninja Gaiden. Actually, it'll probably just be like Warriors Game 24 or something like that. But
I want Ninja Gaiden. Ninja
Gaiden would be sweet. Yeah. So we're looking at the Game Awards. People were asking about Sean, were you trying to get Nate to 10,000 subscribers with a face reveal?
If people keep asking, I said, "Yo, y'all get him to 10K this week. I'll make the face reveal happen."
If I had like my ski mask, I'd put that on, and then I would turn my webcam on, and that's the face reveal you'd get.
Oh man,
always the troll, Nate. Always the troll.
I could put my Samus visor on, see what my thermals.
In honor of the trilogy.
Yes,
sure.
Yes.
So the Video Game Awards are next week, the 6th. Sounds like there's gonna be some big stuff there. We expect a couple things, including Alien, to be announced. There is what we're looking at. There's also word that there's Death Stranding information. I remember it was really funny because what was it? Walmart Canada showed up and was like talking about the release date for Death Stranding. Did you guys see that?
Yep, June 30th, and then they had to officially apologize and say, "Oh, we just made that up. Don't pay attention to us."
Yeah. So I actually think
bullshit.
I actually think the Video Game Awards is a great spot, by the way, for that. For the release date, I think it'd be a good idea there because there's no E3 for Sony next year. So
I didn't think of that. Yeah.
Plus, the lovers can be up on stage with each other, and
that's
look at
exactly
each
why
other's
it'll happen.
eyes.
We can
Talk
chant,
about
go kiss.
Oh
kiss.
man. I think that's a great idea though to do that, to have the release date there and maybe have a trailer that makes any type of sense.
I just can't imagine that game's June 30th though. I mean, when did he start working on that? Like 2 years ago ish.
Yeah.
Whenever it all fell apart. And how long does he take to make games? And this game is obviously be crazy ambitious. So
The biggest things is we know for a fact that he's had the idea for this project for years and years and years. A big part of the production was getting the engine. Since he started out with an engine, he got to skip most of the crap that he deals with because honestly, Kojima gets obsessed with engines. The fact that somebody just gave him Legos and such good Legos to build with, I think that really set him ahead. He had a lot of really talented actors to work with. I feel like a lot of the hurdles were done when he started.
Yeah, and honestly, something else I've thought about on that same idea is, and we may never know the true answer to this, but you would have to think that some concepts from Silent Hills made it over into this game. I mean, they could change just a couple of things to make it not infringement on the IP, but with him and Del Toro still behind this, like how could some of all the different schematics and drawings and notes they had for Silent Hills not somehow be making it into this game? Like, I'm sure of it. So that probably aids in that same thing, dude.
I mean,
look at that.
I mean, look, there's Nate's live sub count there that Sean was just talking about.
That's Sam's face mask.
I mean,
that'll make it happen.
Get a little spike going on or something. Like, damn, let's go.
That's it right there.
You know what? I'm not subscribed, and I'm going to do it right now.
I was. Oh, nice cheesesteaks.
I want cheesesteak.
Yeah, I was telling Nate. I was like, Nate, we're talking about the Game Awards coming up, man. You know, if your sub count went up a bit, you could talk to us a bit about some of your predictions for it. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, very strong, accurate predictions.
Yeah, we're just doing predictions, like, you know, a couple of guys hanging out here doing predictions on the Game Awards. You know,
bearded
bros. Come true. I mean,
no, they're using the Decim engine, which is obviously going to help a lot. Engine from Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yes.
So yeah, Nate's trying to work towards his Nintendo ambassadorship, which would obviously help in his channel. So that's why we're doing that.
And apparently these people really want to see my face, which they can see right now.
Yeah.
that's his real picture. We didn't send him that.
There we go. Little spike action, little spike.
Yeah. Hey, we helped the people on here, man.
Hey, it helped me for sure. So
yeah, actually, I think we did this for everybody at one point on here.
Yeah, y'all definitely did it for me. Yeah, I think I did it at 90K. I think y'all jumped me up to 90K in like a night.
See, it's gonna be interesting to see that though at the Game Awards. But I was more so curious with Nate about what he thinks next week about the Game Awards. If there's anything in particular that he was thinking about as a prediction, of course.
I mean, as a prediction, I think there's going to be some thermal readings from an X-ray visor. And you're going to see like plasma rifles or plasma arm cannons. And, you know, there might be some pirates, not the Smash Brothers types of pirates, but, you know, some from, you know, above the earth and that big black void that's above us that's led by like a giant dragon.
Okay. Those things don't make any sense, but that sounds correct. Yeah.
He's talking about Warframe, right?
Oh, yeah.
Warframe stuff, space ninjas and space pirates.
Is that dragon in Smash Brothers? I just want to know.
He used to, you know, I think
the
Smash Dragon was too big for Smash Brothers, so you know, I'm not too sure what really happened with him.
Oh yeah,
no,
so they gave him his own game.
Ridley looks ridiculous in Smash Brothers, does he not?
Guys, I'm gonna read some of the super chat questions at 10. So about 15 minutes from now.
Does Ridley not look ridiculous in Smash Brothers?
So I wanted to ask Nate about this because I had some predictions of my own for next week at the Game Awards. And what I was thinking is it's pretty clear. I think we can all look at Reggie and say, okay, you were wearing your shirt on purpose with the Metroid logo, right? I think that's pretty clear. So my thought is they do what they did with Bayonetta because that seems like a good track record, right? You show up, you do something we've all been asking for. I mean, I assume everyone in the chat wants it too, is a Metroid Prime trilogy, but of some kind, right?
Yeah.
They did it on the Wii. You know, you bring it over, and they had it on the Wii U. Everybody is buying the Switch. Probably, I mean, let's be real. Probably missed Metroid Prime.
Unless they've
been with Nintendo since obviously the GameCube. So bring it over, and let's buy Metroid Prime. Hopefully in earlier 2019 to get ready for Prime 4. So that's what I would like to see.
I mean, realistic prediction is Metroid Prime Trilogy is at the Video Game Awards. It's dated for a February release of 2019, and we probably see some form of a Metroid Prime 4 teaser trailer. That's obviously beyond the the logo that we saw at E3, and they do the Bayonetta situation of, here's the trilogy, we're going to get you ready for 4. But by that happening, I think that means Metroid Prime 4 is a 2020 release, because I don't think we're going to get Metroid Prime 4
That makes sense. Yeah.
6 to 7 months after a trilogy release. And I mean, that's the prediction for Nintendo at the video game.
So I have a strong feeling people wouldn't mind if Metroid Prime. I'm going to leave this up till we get you to at least 9,500 subs, Nate, and then I'll take it down. This is not the whole time. I don't think people would mind as much if Metroid Prime 4 fell to 2020 if we had an HD trilogy to play in the meantime.
Yeah. Even as somebody like right now, I'd say Metroid Prime 4 is one of my most hyped Switch games. Having a really good trilogy, yeah, that would definitely help me like not be so hungry for it.
Yeah. So I'd be fine with that. Honestly, I'd rather have the trilogy and then Metroid Prime 4 in 2020 rather than no trilogy and then Metroid Prime 4 in like holiday 2019. I think I'd be okay with that because it'd be fun going back through those, getting ready for Prime 4.
Can I ask you guys, like to everybody here, like with the controls in the game, because you guys know from the original Metroid Prime, you know, you had the regular controls, Metroid Prime 2, same thing. But then when they released the trilogy, they had it to where you couldn't use the regular GameCube controls, but wouldn't they have to kind of put those back in because of portable play? Or
my theory is that they're going to overhaul it, and I think they're going to have to overhaul a couple other features because the aiming in the GameCube version, I went back and played through Metroid Prime 1 recently. It's not aged the best. I think they're going to really smooth that out and make it a twin stick shooter, obviously. And I think they're going to make that for 1, 2, and 3. And I think when they do that, I think they're going to have to like tweak it, the AI a little bit, or the enemies to be too easy.
So that's going to be a complete rehaul because the game it's a target based, like it's a lock on based game.
It is. Maybe I still, it's hard to say. That's just my own little prediction. I think they're going to try and do a little bit more. The same thing, the same way that they, because you know the way they did Wind Waker HD, they actually redid some of the puzzles and took out a couple annoying parts. I think they're going to do the same thing of not reinvent the wheel, but tweak it.
I'll say that game looks really good in Dolphin. So if they can get some of those effects in there, and it's just a clean 60 frames per second. I'm on board with that. That would be amazing.
Most of those effects were just GPU side, and I mean they got NVIDIA in here, and that usually comes standard.
I mean, it's much more powerful than the GameCube, but like if they can move that over, even obviously the Wii, it looked well enough on the Wii.
I'd be down for them to. I didn't think about what Dreamcast guy said, so it's kind of surprised me. But I'd be down if they did that too. I mean, because obviously, like for today's gamers, I mean, like they might be a little shocked going back and playing Metroid Prime, like how it's not like a regular twin stick type of shooter. It's a lock on base. I mean, you can move the thing, you can move it around, but you can't move and do that, can you? Like when you do that, you hold down.
It's like Resident Evil 4, and people in chat, like the game still looks amazing and it still is amazing, but it feels really weird to like walk up and see an enemy and then have to stop and then aim at it. It feels a little bit weird.
It's funny because I've made a couple videos on this subject about the Prime trilogy, and usually my thesis behind it has been pretty much what you guys are saying. The control scheme is a big aspect on how to do it. And just like you guys are saying, that the GameCube games, which is only 1 and 2, are the only games that have that weird, like you said, OJ, kind of target-based thing, and you need your triggers, one to lock on and one to kind of pivot and actually look around and do stuff. And the last video I made on this, even like a week ago, I discussed, I think in a perfect world, they give all 3 options. I think it would be great as kind of like an Easter egg or like a thank you to Prime fans to allow like the really awkward GameCube game controls, because I would love to do it just for the sake of nostalgia. But for sure, also like you said, Max, and I addressed this as well, I think it would be brilliant, considering the games have to be playable portable as well, if they did add common twin stick Halo, Call of Duty kind of controls for the game. And I think that it's a good chance that they do that.
I think they need gyro controls even in portable play, just to have that sense of what you had with Metroid Prime 3 on the Wii. You want that nice, smooth.
It could work,
So I mean, that's a lot of work then, because I mean, you're talking about like gyro controls, you're talking about the regular controls. I mean, if you remember, you guys played Metroid Prime 3. That's my favorite Metroid Prime. Well, Metroid Prime 3 and Metroid Prime Pinball. Yeah, those are my 2 favorite. I like the pinball game too. But Metroid Prime 3, that was really cool because like it pretty much played completely different, right? Because you could you could aim anywhere that you wanted, and that's the reason why Metroid Prime 3 was my favorite out of them. I always kind of had a little bit of issue with the controls in the first 2 games, and Metroid Prime 2 just pissed me off just flat out, outright, just because type of game it was. But like Metroid Prime 3 was always my favorite one. I mean, they added like that little hyper mode. They added all sorts of cool stuff. Like you got into your ship and you had the controls as well. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with that one and kind of how they do the controls. Because if they took that out, so I'm thinking that maybe like Rob's theory of maybe having just all of them. They took that. That'd be a little bit of a kind of a bummer, right? To not have the option for that.
Well, they
especially
because have to have them. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Max.
I was going to say, because on the point, with Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, a lot of the puzzles were built around motion controls. Like literally, it was supposed to feel like when you're pulling apart wreckage, it's supposed to actually feel like you're pulling apart wreckage. So if they take out all the motion controls,
and stuff,
it would be a little bit weird. I think it's going to need to have something still in there.
Well, and that's why, like for me as a super fan, I would love to see those GameCube controls thrown in. But the big problem with that is that Prime 3 never had those controls. Prime 3 was only ever made with the motion controls. So they'd have to like go back and instead of adding motion to the GameCube games like they already did for the Prime Trilogy, they'd have to take the GameCube and like upgrade it to work on Prime 3 that never had it. So it's more just like a fan wish than something I think they would do. But they would probably for sure do standard motion with the gyro, the Joy-Cons, and add that the twin stick style. And like a lot of you guys have already said too, it makes so much sense to get this game out to get people used to what Prime is before 4 comes out, because the Switch I think is selling to such a large audience now compared to when the last Metroid Prime games were made available to people, that so many people, whether it's because they're young or they just weren't playing Nintendo until the Switch came out, they don't know what Prime is going to be like. And they might be like, oh, cool, this is like the Halo version of Nintendo, which people thought Prime 1 was going to be and were surprised when it turned out to not be that. So the Prime Trilogy becomes like a great way to just like, this is what this game is like. And I think that based on whatever new control things they throw into 4, I've theorized this so much on my channel too. They're obviously going to do new like Joy-Con Switch specific cool things for 4 to show off what the Switch can do for Prime. And if they can also throw those features into the Prime Trilogy, that also gets people prepared for the changes they might add to 4. So
well, there's a lot of like Joy-Con features that we're still figuring out about. Do you remember Mario Party was able to kind of manipulate the rumble so that it made sounds?
That scared me.
That was weird, right?
I didn't even know it did that.
Yeah, when it's your turn, it like the actual HD rumble or whatever, it would actually vibrate in a way that would make an actual sound that sounds like it's a speaker.
See, I love that because I've been hoping I might be one of the only people that thinks HD Rumble is like the coolest thing. Like I love the idea.
I talk about it all the time too. I love HD Rumble.
It's such a cool idea. The technology is right. Yeah, so Max is like, eh.
Yeah, I don't care as much about it. I don't care as much about it either, to be honest.
It's interesting. I just don't get hyped about it.
Well, I would turn off Rumble because I play Halo, but go on.
Well, that's the thing is they haven't really done a lot with it except for a couple of like party games like 1-2 Switch and Mario Party. But I would love it if they went to like the next level with HD Rumble in Prime 4. And like hearing you talk about, I didn't know that it could do the things where it sounds like it's like a sound or a speaker. I think that could just be really cool for like weird ambient sound effects, or you get pinged from something else that like, and Samus has to do this thing in her helmet and the Joy-Con rumbles and makes noises. That stuff just gets me really excited. So
you have to hold it up like a telephone, like, hello, yes, home base.
Yeah, home base.
You did that in No More Heroes, the first one.
Every boss battle she would call you and you have to be like, Travis, you will have to body slam this next boss.
Body slam.
So what else? Is there anything? What else do we think is going to be there, though?
I want to make one non-gaming prediction. I think they're going to unveil the next Avengers trailer there.
Oh, like the movies.
Yeah, I think because remember last year in December, the beginning of December, they showed the Avengers 3 trailer. So I think since the Russo brothers are going to be there, they're going to probably end and be like, by the way, we're also trying to be Hollywood for some reason. Boom.
I mean, it would be cool to see that, though, to be fair. Like, I really want to see that trailer. Also, tell me if you guys know if this is still a thing or not, but there was supposed to be an Avengers game being made.
Yeah, they're still making that. It's Square's doing that.
Oh, so maybe they're there to talk about that, possibly. You know,
they possibly could like maybe announce it, not announce it, but like be the people up on stage who point to it. Basically, that's possible. But I don't think they're connected to it in any way. I think they just do the movies.
Yeah, I want to say that's. I think OJ may have heard this too. Didn't they? There was like a leak in the last couple of weeks about the Avengers game that it's moving along, but we're probably not going to see it for another year or two. I swear,
that That was a bit ago. There was just a little bit ago where they talked about that with the event. It's moving along, but like I think Square Enix said something in their they had a
earnings
press release, earnings, and they asked about it, and they're like, yeah, it's coming along.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm sure the investors are really excited about that game. So
well, because Square Enix had a loss this past, I think something million, like nothing crazy, but.
It was 330 or what? Or was it 30? I can't remember. It was
30 something million.
It's because they cut that studio, like that whole, like all that stuff got cut out. So they wrote all that off, and it was ugly. But
I'm actually kind of glad to hear then that the game isn't maybe that close to being done, or it doesn't sound like they're trying to force it. Because if they were trying to get this game out to tie in with the movie, I would be hella nervous.
Yeah.
The best superhero games have always come out when they're not associated with the movie, like the Batman Arkham Asylum and Spider-Man. Those didn't come out to promote a movie. They just released to be awesome when they were done. So,
well, let me ask you. I think it's gonna be games. It might even be a games as a service game, to be honest.
Avengers?
Well, really? Oh,
it might be. Yeah.
Oh no! Don't do it.
Yeah. What do you guys think about something like NetherRealm being there?
Oh, for Mortal Kombat? Yeah. Please.
Yeah. Definitely.
I've heard that rumor.
Mortal Kombat 11 or whatnot being there.
X11XX.
Yeah. I'm ready for another Mortal Kombat, a new one. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of people talking about Mortal Kombat lately, so I feel like there's just like that vibe in the air. So
this time it's the grandkids, and they just have everyone's movesets. It'll be great.
They come out, they're like, we're trying something totally original. We're calling our new model Everyone is Here.
Yeah, because they're done with haven't really done anything with Injustice 2 recently, right?
Oh, that game's been dying in the tournament scene too, so it's just been
which is a shame. I love the meta. I love the meta in Injustice 2 so much, but yeah, people just they're not flocking to it.
Just not playing it as much. I mean, it's still great. I mean, it's still fun to watch. But just I don't know. I mean, some of the fighting games have just been. I don't know. I'm gonna blame Fortnite. How about that? I don't know what to say. How about I just blame Fortnite?
When in doubt, I do the same thing. It's probably Fortnite's fault.
It's just Fortnite's fault. I don't know what to say.
I have one kind of wild, crazy out there prediction.
Sure.
Going back to Sony. Because you made a good point with Death Stranding, they're not doing a PlayStation experience and they're not at E3. I like the idea of them still doing something in this time frame where normally there would have been an experience. And I'm hoping for Bloodborne 2. I think that would be a huge shocker. And I don't necessarily think it's likely, but I think there's enough of a chance. And I also just want it so bad. When you think of like a Sony game that they might want to announce now, while we all kind of assume that they're preparing for PS5 next year. And because I was thinking they might be just totally done announcing PS4 games until the 5 is revealed, hence all the missing the expos and stuff. But if they wanted to have one new game to show, I think Bloodborne 2 would be really surprising and get people excited. So
I can tell you for a fact there are 3 big PS4 games that still have not been shown that are supposed to be released before the PS5.
Does one of them rhyme with Floodborne?
It's Trudgeborn. But yeah, I don't know why they haven't shown up yet. I don't really know exactly what's going on, but
yeah, it's gonna be a fun show though. It sounds like they're gonna try to do better than last year even. So last year was all right. Yeah, it was all right last year.
That's quite a prediction, thinking that it's actually gonna be good.
Right?
I don't mind them as much. That's the thing.
My problem is like they made a big deal. They're bringing back the guy who made that game for EA. What was it? No Way Out. And they're like, we're gonna have this guy back. Are you just bringing him back because it's basically a meme at this point? He comes on stage and be like, "Hey guys, this is an award. Fuck you!" Like, yeah, it was cool when you did it because it was unscripted, it was spontaneous. I get it. If you're just having him there because you think it's like the cool thing to do, Mr. Cheeto Pope, then you're failing.
Oh, his game got nominated for an award.
It is and
Ninja's presenting and he's nominated. And I think everyone who's like nominated for an award is also presenting at the show.
Well, Fortnite came out last year, so I have no idea what that's about. But
there's a bunch of stuff that is. Why is Michael Phelps the professional swimmer going? Like none of it makes sense. They're just bringing anybody.
Publicity.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, publicity. It helps obviously with getting people on looking at it and everything. I mean, you got to do what you got to do to get it out there and to people. So. But I'm gonna be curious how many awards get announced off camera.
That's what annoys me the most. I do on the topic of Joseph Ferris though. I will say that he's probably going to reveal his next game because they're talking about there's going to be so many reveals. I was a big fan of A Way Out, and I followed Joseph Faros on Twitter. He said the day A Way Out released, they started the next game. Their plan is to basically make like an adventure every year or every like 16 months. So I have a feeling that if he shows up, he's probably going to do a bunch of cocaine and talk about his next big project.
Sweet.
He better, and they better give his ass a live mic too.
Well,
That
that
was my favorite part.
that game doesn't make any sense.
Fuck the Oscars.
That game doesn't make any sense being from EA because you only need one copy of the game and both people can play it, and it's like $30 and none of that makes sense. But hey, there you go. EA went with it, I guess, and I guess they're gonna do the next one. We'll see if there's microtransactions and all that stuff in the next one. Now that's successful.
I guarantee that they're making those just for brownie points. They make them so cheap. I've heard from several different people that game loses money. A lot of those EA studios lose money, but they lose so tiny amounts that they don't mind doing it for publicity of like, okay, we can have the cocaine guy on stage and it makes us look better.
Well, let me ask you one last thing before we move on from this. Is there any chance that Nintendo does anything but like a Metroid? Like, is there, like, remember last year we had Bayonetta as like basically what we would assume Metroid would be this year, but then they also still released the Zelda DLC that night.
Yeah.
I think that they're probably going to try and I think they're going to probably do some sort of teaser direct. I think they're going to do some sort of like super rapid fire series of images. Probably they made some sort of deal where it's like, okay, we're going to reveal Metroid here, so it's going to get a lot of eyeballs, but we want to sneak in these extra little teasers, and I think they're going to probably show us some like Travis Strike Back and stuff, just a little bit of extra stuff to try and boost holiday sales.
Some people think maybe a DLC character gets confirmed for Smash.
That's what I was thinking for Smash. Yeah, like maybe they announced the first DLC character because Jeff Keighley and Reggie, they had that little clip, right, where they were talking about it, and then like, oh yeah, you release Smash. Jeff Keighley was like teasing Reggie, like, yo, you release Smash on the same day as the Game Awards. Like, what's going on there? And then Reggie's like, oh, we need something special. So maybe they announced some like the first DLC character, which would be interesting. Because I think I know who it is, so it'd be interesting.
Okay, well, you might know, and maybe So I won't ask you that on air, but my guess would be on air. My guess would be Travis Touchdown because I've been wanting and like singing the Travis song for so long, and the game comes out in January, the new one. So.
Suda would have accidentally revealed that. He would have been so hyped. He would have accidentally said something dumb at this point. So I don't know about Travis.
Man.
Tweeted
Evan,
out a screenshot of the email.
Evan, you said that Discord question is related to the Game Awards. We can do that before I read the super chats and we go on to the other topics.
Yep.
Here, I'm going to say goodbye real quick and run out. I got to get to my party. Okay. But everybody, I'm doing a bunch of big videos this week, including some stuff Smash related. So if you're not subscribed, Dreamcast guy. All right, thanks
check them out. All right, man. See you around.
See you, Max.
All right, Evan, what's our Discord question? Hit us with it.
So we got a two-parter for that. Who will win the Game Awards next week? Which I'm guessing means Game of the Year. And I think we talked about that last week, where we're pretty sure it's Red Dead, but we'd want it to be God of War.
I think God of War is going to win, or I want God of War to win. I'm starting to think God of War is actually going to win.
I totally think God of War will win. I really do.
I'm sorry, especially now that we have Red Dead actually has quieted down a bit, and the online has come out and it's been not well received, I want to say. So maybe when we start seeing God of War again pop back up, early next week as they start talking about it, maybe people will get back to that.
I think that it's not necessarily the most accurate barometer, like for whatever they might use to choose the winner. Although I think it's mostly fan votes and a committee or something. But like, kind of like what you're saying though, John, like Red Dead, I know it's like a really great game, but the conversation isn't really like huge and long going over that game. But if you remember back when God of War came out in April or February, whenever that was, it seemed like for 2 months, it was nonstop conversation. People were excited. People were tweeting. People were making videos. Reviewers and podcasts were talking about it. So I know that doesn't like guarantee a winner or a not winner, but when I think about the bigger, more well-loved game based on conversation, it seems like it was God of War. So
yeah, I think God of War is I think it's just a better game because when I play Red Dead, there's something wrong with the controls.
There's ridiculous input delay.
And that's basically it being a video game, right? Is that you can control the character. I don't like the controls that much. I think it hurts the game a lot. And God of War's controls were great. Like overall, like God of War, I think is a much more well-rounded piece of entertainment for video games. Whereas
Yeah.
Red Dead, everyone can look at it and go, yeah, this is what's definitely wrong with it, but this part's really, really good. This is what's wrong with it. That's
God
kind
of
of
War-
my thought,
God of War had also a big spectacle kind of feel to it. And again, I haven't played Red Dead, and I know it's really amazing, so it totally could win. But I also think I'm trying not to be a fanboy because I also just loved God of War a lot. It's my favorite game of the year, but I think that helps it too. It just felt more like a bigger deal to release what that game was. So
Deadlock 7 said, what if they show off DLC for God of War at the Game Awards?
yes, please.
They have the new game plus, and they put out some free stuff, but what if they had like a full on I don't know, because they left the door open for obviously the sequel. Oh man, I don't know if they can. Maybe they can.
Did Cory Barlog say? I mean, I could ask Max, but he left. Didn't he say he has like 5 God of War games planned after this or something?
Yep, he's
so
ready.
Ain't done with that. Yeah, he's ready.
He's ready. So I think it's because this one went over so well with critics and obviously sales and everything. So they're ready. No one's pointing at Spider-Man, huh?
I like Spider-Man more than I like God of War.
I feel like the standard conversation for Spider-Man was, man, it's just as good as the old Spider-Man. It's like that's okay, I guess.
That's it.
I mean, yeah, it's as good as Spider-Man 2, so there we go. Like at the time, when the Spider-Man 2 came out on the PS2, it was amazing. This one came out, it was great. So yeah. It's it feels like an open world game. I think that's the one problem. Like it didn't really do anything different, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of talked about it. I think the last time I was on the podcast, like I absolutely think it's an amazing game, but I do feel like that game, compared to God of War, where I think the spectacle kept going all the way until the credits rolled. I think with Spider-Man, 10 to 15 hours in, I kind of feel like I definitely hit the wall. Everything is everything. There's no surprises. I understand this game, and it's perfect at what it does, but then the excitement kind of wore off a little bit.
And I mean, it even started to repeat itself. The final major boss fight was the same as the middle major boss fight, like almost exactly the same. It was kind of a little weird.
Yeah.
I want to I see people talking about Octopath. What's Octopath up for? I know it's up for RPG and it's up for best art direction. I think it should win for best art direction, actually.
Got to.
I think
that
that's
would be
fair.
a robbery if it doesn't.
I think music. I think the surefire one is music. The soundtrack in that game is.
Well, what was it up against for music though?
Yeah, because if it's up against Celeste, it's in trouble. Because Celeste is going to get voted for a lot.
Soundtrack is so dope, though, man. Like it's so good.
No, it is, but like Celeste was like that was a crazy.
Celeste, again, I haven't played it, but is that probably like a chip tune, like an 8-bit kind of thing? That's like really good. The music.
I wouldn't say it's
is
like
it not that?
No, I wouldn't say it's like that.
No,
but
it has good. I mean, like I like Celeste. I think Celeste is cool. I mean, I got it for $10 over the.
Also, I'm going to tell you guys, the best role playing game. I'm going Dragon Quest 11 on that. Everyone should play Dragon Quest 11.
Boycotting that.
I was about to say OJ's got something to say. I know.
Boycotting that horrible select Nino Kuni too. Okay. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. I voted
like Dragon Quest 11.
I voted for Octopath.
You didn't like Dragon Quest 11?
No, Dragon Quest 11. It's fine. It's good.
You just didn't like because Xenoblade's not in there.
But yeah, that was my issue. That was my issues. And.
Well, they can only pick one game from 2017. They picked Fortnite.
Yeah.
Fortnite clean sweep. It's so good. It's going to win categories it wasn't even nominated for.
The funny is, I actually played all the games up for RPG. I think that's the only one out of all the categories where I played all the games, except for Monster Hunter's in the RPG, right? I don't know.
Yeah,
it's in the RPG of the year category, isn't it?
I mean, look at it this way. I think last year Horizon Zero Dawn won a category for some other place as RPG of the year. So sure, it can be Monster Hunter can be RPG of the year, I guess.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I think Monster Hunter's in there, but I don't really consider Monster Hunter too much of like an RPG.
Yeah, it's too action.
I played all the games on there, and I mean, like, no, they're good selections. I just wish like Xeno was there, but hey, it is what it is.
Isn't Persona, was that last year? Isn't that nominated? Persona 5?
That was last year.
That was 2017.
That was the year before? Okay.
Yeah, what's amazing about that is that was actually in Game of the Year. It wasn't even an RPG of the Year, and you don't see that normally for those games. So that was insane. Like that is actually, I don't know if that's more surprising than Celeste or not being in Game of the Year. Celeste might be more impressive.
I think, that's convinced me to play that game.
Yeah. Because Persona 5 was, first of all, it was delayed forever. There was a lot of hype. There was a lot of hype heading into Persona 5.
Team behind it too, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
and then like it got great reviews too. So I mean, like everybody was really digging. What
I mean,
the
how
Funko did.
many people made Celeste? I didn't think Celeste was made by many people. Like I thought that was like a very small team.
I thought it was like a dude, like one
I
dude.
thought it was one guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is insane. IGN gave that game a 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
That's the new trend. There's a lot of games coming out that way, and it's like 1 or 2 people making kick-ass games. Axiom Verge was one guy, and it was
Dead
awesome.
Cells.
Yeah,
Dead
Yeah.
Cells, yeah.
that's like the world we're in now. You know,
I love it. I love it.
Unity is out there. You can use it and you can build Unreal.
I do want to give a little bit of love to Monster Hunter World because if God of War wasn't on that list, it probably would be my pick because I love that game.
okay.
But it's a very specific game for a specific audience. I
Sure.
know, but I
Okay.
do think it's.
Oh, that game was great. Like they blew. I mean, how much bigger Monster Hunter got was crazy for Capcom. That was a huge success for them this year.
Yeah, they crossed 10 million units with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
Which
an
I didn't
awesome
expect
game.
them to do, and they did that. So shout outs to them. And I think it was $10 over Black Friday, but they ran out of copies. I would have bought it.
Yeah, I have that on the PS4, I think.
Wasn't that's a? Oh, by the way, John, that's a game I am gonna double dip for my my laptop now because
Monster Hunter,
yeah, I really can't wait to try that in that. But
It runs well on the PC, yeah.
yeah, and I'm on just a base PS4, so I'm also in 30 frames per second. So I really want to play it in 60.
Yeah,
so
you'll blow right through that with your laptop. Let me go through some of these.
We have one other because I know earlier you said Rob, Bloodborne 2 would be your shocker announcement.
Yes.
Anyone else have any ideas on like a real shocker announcement for games?
Mother 3.
Metroid Prime 5.
F-Zero. Right now I'm calling it F-Zero. Let's go, baby. F-Zero at the Game Awards. Shocker.
Skyward Sword HD.
Pokeballs.
The next Zelda game, the top-down Zelda game for next year.
Right.
Yeah, we'll go with
Zero's
that.
coming. When Nintendo wanted to do F-Zero on the Wii U, they wanted to do it, but the Wii U failed, and Criterion or whatever said no, they couldn't do it. I think Nintendo brings it back. It's coming back, man. Let's do it. Everyone's like, no.
What if they? Well, that's actually good. That's actually good right there in the chat. What if they brought up one of the Final Fantasy games that they announced, at E3 or whatnot, and they dropped it that night?
I guess you could shadow drop something like Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'd be like, oh, all right,
that would
neat.
be the remake.
Oh
No,
the one that they're bringing to Switch and Xbox.
Oh, okay. I was about to say that would break the world if they did the remake.
Yeah, but they
Shadow
could
Drop.
come out on stage and be like, "Well, we moved it up. Here you go."
Yeah, come play this old Final Fantasy game. Which one? Just Final Fantasy 7 or all of them?
Seven.
Just 7.
Oh, that'd
I
be
mean,
okay.
I feel like they should shadow drop something. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know.
Anything that gets shadow dropped at the Game Awards is going to be Western focused. So it'd
Yes.
be like, we're shadow dropping Madden. People go, who gives
Madden 2020, dude. Like already.
Yeah, like, look. We had to remove Kareem Hunt.
That's what I was just about to say. Like, look, no free on the Chiefs.
Oh man.
He's a free agent. Can anybody pick him up? And they go,
It's a good thing. It's a good thing they found out about that before he was like the cover of like the next Madden game.
Seriously.
Right.
That would have been something else. They would have been doing like what they did with like Brett Favre when he changed teams and he had to print out another cover for the Jets. They're like send it to you and like print it out on your printer. Okay, we're not doing this.
They'd pull like the old school, like the Mr. Dream and Mike Tyson type of thing. Like some people get Mike Tyson,
That was so
some
funny.
people get
That was.
Mr.
I remember it. I remember it was Madden 2009 because I got it. He was still in his Packers uniform.
Yeah.
And they were like, you got traded, so we're just gonna let you print out your own cover art. And I was like, what is this?
Yeah, I remember that too.
2000s.
Oh man. Let me go through some of these super chats here before we move on. Zildjian says YouTube 2 Rise of the Electric Boogaloo.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
Jackson McGuire says, do you guys think there will be a Smash DLC announcement at the VGA? I'm really hoping for Metroid Prime 4 news. Have a good one. We're thinking Metroid Prime 4 teaser of some kind. They'll probably give us our first look, hopefully at the direction of the game. Probably not in-game footage, but more like how we see those Smash like trailers, the CG trailers and stuff. But just an idea of what we're going through here. And we kind of talked about how there could be. That's something we might think could happen as like a shocker.
I'm not expecting any Smash DLC.
No.
If anything, I think we'll get a date for PD Piranha.
Well, there already is a date, isn't there? Like
You have
February.
to buy the game by date, but
No,
not
there's
when he'll
he's
come
coming out in February though. They said that in
Really?
February.
Then I don't think we'll see any actual paid DLC.
Okay.
I think on Metroid, I actually do think if they show Metroid Prime 4, I think there will be gameplay because that's that's kind of Nintendo's thing with most of their games anyway. It's rare they show something for the first time without gameplay. So I would think that they would be willing to open that door. Otherwise, it's like barely worth it.
You know who
see CG, it wouldn't really give people much.
If they did, they'd probably though keep it as those condensed like 2-second hits of different zones and places and things going on to try to give you that overview. So it's just real quick.
That's all I need. Just give me some of that goodness. That's all I need.
Completely forgot about was Retro Studios.
I was gonna say Star Fox Racing, maybe.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. What did they drop that there, or not? Like gave it to us, but like showed it. That's kind of Western. That's Western focus with Star Fox.
Considering how easy it was to forget, if it's not better than what we're thinking it is, it's just not going to be good for them.
I don't think they're going to overshadow any potential Metroid Prime Trilogy, Metroid
that makes
Prime
sense,
4 news with another big announcement. Like if we could get a small scale DLC drop, like, oh look, Odyssey gets a Jeff Keighley outfit.
Well,
like, oh cool.
Yes,
like something like that.
Give us like Mario Sunshine DLC for what you call it, like the
Sunshine was terrible.
No. You didn't like Sunshine?
Mario Sunshine is the worst 3D Mario game to ever release.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
No, two of them.
What?
But I don't think it's the worst. I think.
What's the worst 3D Mario?
Let me ask you this: do you mean the worst by today's standards, or the worst by when it came out?
No, it's the worst 3D Mario game by today's standards. It was bad when it came out. It wasn't.
You think it's worse than Mario 64 now?
Yes.
By right now.
Yes.
See, have you played Mario 64 recently?
Yes, and it's much better than Mario Sunshine.
Really, I don't think it's better than Sunshine. Like by today's standards, by when it came out, yeah, obviously because it. Like,
I mean, it's.
I only played Sunshine and really sit there and say, you'll sit there and say, what the hell was this?
I played it last week on Dolphin when I was checking out.
I think we repicked it up almost every year at the store when we were stuff just to like test it out.
It was fun. It was fun. I like Sunshine. Sunshine was great. Sunshine was awesome. I can't believe you didn't like Sunshine, man.
Sunshine. A lot of GameCube efforts weren't really that great when it came from Nintendo. I mean, Metroid Prime's great. Wind Waker was solid. Melee is amazing. But Sunshine was half fit. I mean, it wasn't a complete game.
You know what was one of the best episodes from back when we watched Game Grumps was when they went back and started playing Mario 64. And they had
this rage so
they had
hard.
this slow realization as to how different Mario 64 is nowadays compared to how it was when it first came out. It was just it was over like course of 40 episodes, but they slowly started to realize how much worse it is now than it used to be. It's still, when it came out, it was like legendary, obviously, and that's what I remember it for. But like they went back and they were like,
hasn't aged well.
It hasn't aged great. No,
whereas like Sunshine, like there's so much movement options in Sunshine, like and everything. Like you see the speedrunners playing it. It definitely, like if you go back and play them, Sunshine is probably a little bit easier to play and better.
I know people that don't like Sunshine. That's fine, but I don't think it's better than 64 by
Sunshine has a terrible camera. That's not even up for debate.
Mario 64 doesn't even really have a good camera.
Terrible. There's just a lot wrong with Sunshine. I mean, it had amazing water and it had amazing mirror. Like that mirror in Sunshine is still visually amazing, but the game was forgettable. It really wasn't that fun, and it gave us Bowser Jr., which still plays our games today.
It gave us Bowser Jr.
You don't like Bowser Jr.?
Bowser Jr. is cool in like Smash Brothers, but I don't need him in every single.
Not cool. He's not cool in Mario
game.
Tennis until they nerfed him.
He's cool. He's horrible in Smash. He's garbage in Smash 4. But I mean, I like him.
Let me go through some super chats. Dingo says, "Woo, Monster Boy." Yes, everyone should go get Monster Boy. It's a good game. Lycon asked, "Did Bethesda 76 your stream?" Not yet, because we're not talking. I should have talked about that when Max was here, but we'll go over it briefly. Fallout 76. He does not like that game much. Frenzied Chaos asked, "New screenshot of Final Fantasy VII Remake at the Game Awards." New screenshot. I would like to see a trailer. That'd be cool.
Yeah, a screenshot would be like a slap in the face.
Yeah, a trailer would be cool.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Just so we know it's still like a thing. Xenoblade 2 snubbed. That's from Benjamin Cook. I'm still not sure what happened there. I have no idea.
Didn't Jeff like apologize, like, "Oh, I forgot" or something?
Oh no!
Seriously, forgot. That's something like that.
No.
I'm gonna slap him the next time I see him.
Pretty ridiculous.
Wife is a game that says Goku to be revealed for Smash at VGA. I think they're joking because put the XD face next to that. Yeah, Goku's been shut down, right, OJ?
Yeah. No anime characters. Basically, what Sakurai said.
Lycon then says Kirby played an actual song with the HD Rumble. That's right. When you get to the end of Kirby, it used the HD Rumble to play a song.
Oh,
so
cool.
it's such an odd thing. Like Sean said, it scared him when it made that noise because you don't expect it. I was confused at first when I heard that from Mario Party. I was like, what just happened? It doesn't have a speaker. It's insane. Just the versatility of that Rumble motors. I expect the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox, whatever, to move to those as well next gen. And they better be using USB Type-C, or I'm not going to be happy about that. Even the SN30 Pro uses USB Type-C at this point. That's embarrassing.
You mean for the charging the controllers?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I think PlayStation uses mini USB, right?
Yes, them and Xbox both use that. It's it's the old kind. It's archaic at this point. USB-C needs to be everywhere at this point.
The back of my monitor has it. It's got to be everywhere.
Yeah. Like I said, this SN30 Pro from 8-Bit Dough uses it, and it's like, we're talking about Microsoft and Sony over here. So
I don't know. Microsoft still uses batteries though for their controllers. So.
That's a good point. They do. You have to buy the play and charge kit. I bought the Elite controller for $150. Came with 2 AA batteries. Yeah. Got mad for a minute there. Although some people do argue that it's good because there are only so many charges on obviously the rechargeable batteries that come inside, the Pro controller, the PS4 controller, things like that. So you can, I guess, remove it easily, but still, it feels weird to use AA's nowadays on our controllers.
Like what if you go somewhere for like a trip and then you forget to forget the double.
Stop at a gas station.
Oh man.
Stop at a gas station. Go out there. Stop at a gas station.
K19 says all we know that is going to be better than is going to be better than Spike TV VGA days. I don't know. Go back and watch some of those when they had Samuel L. Jackson on there and he was throwing grenades into the audience. Those are good days.
Yeah, but that's also where the VGX came from, which is like the worst thing ever. With Joel McHale as the host.
But they took themselves a lot less seriously back then. Like they were just doing stupid stuff. Like now people are dressing up in are dressing up in tuxedos and stuff, and it's like
it's almost like they were having fun then, and now it's supposed to be all prim and proper.
It's very big business.
But they don't even succeed at being prim and proper.
Because you got the Oscars, man.
It's just directionless. It's just a commercialized advertisement to show game trailers.
Yeah, but they have the Schick Hydro bot.
Exactly.
I can't hate that.
You have a beard. You should eat the Schick Hydro bot. It's trying to take away what you've grown.
But seriously though, if you look at like the VJs guys, come on, Zelda. They had Zelda there, the DLC. I mean, they had Bayonetta revealed 1, 2, and 3. That was hype. You gotta admit that was hype. No matter, you talk about the show, that was super hype. So
I think Nintendo America obviously worked with that and did a good job with that with Jeff Keighley and stuff. Like I think he really cares about his show, so that's why I give him credit for it.
Same.
Yeah. John J, some of you all think the next mainline Pokemon could be huge, but if they cross promote with the movie, it could break sales records. Thoughts?
I think it'll already sell pretty darn well.
Yeah, it's going to break sales records.
Yeah, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee did really well for what people are expecting. Yeah. So I expect that 8th gen, the next generation Pokemon next year to do extremely well. I also don't think they're going to use, I don't think it's going to look the same either, which sounds crazy. I don't think they're going to use that same engine.
No, I think it's going to be something looking completely different. And they're going to, you also have to realize there'll be a lot more Switches available by the time that game comes out. So naturally, sales are going to increase just because there's going to be like 20 million more Switches or however many
by
more
then
Switches,
it's very possible they could have up to 40 million Switch units on the market at that time. So
and that actually, I can very easily take this back to the Metroid conversation too, because for so long I thought that Prime 4 was likely to come out before Pokemon, and this was even before they gave us like the confirmed 2019 for Pokemon last year. But now that we're not quite sure what's happening with Prime, but we know when Pokemon's coming out, I think that does further probably confirm, like you guys said, 2020 for Prime 4, because they can get Pokemon out before Prime 4, which is going to sell so many Switches, it's insane. And that just further bumps what they can do for Prime 4. Because, as much as we all love Metroid, it's never been the huge seller like Mario and Zelda and Pokemon has been.
It struggles in Japan, and the West
Japan
holds it up. But the West doesn't hold it up enough. So when Prime 4 comes out, people are really going to have to support that game if they want that franchise to have a focus on it still.
Metroid Prime 3 pretty much was the best environment for them to release a game, and it did less than Metroid Prime, the original. So, I mean, and it had cool controls, and it was on the Wii. The Wii it was right in the hype of the Wii, like the Wii had already sold a lot even at that point. I think it was like
the year after. So Prime 3 came out, 2007, dude, 2007. Like a year afterwards. And so you make such a good point, because that was the Prime environment for that game. And unlike Other M, which also came out in a similar Prime environment, Prime 3 was well reviewed and people loved that game. People didn't like Other M, so that one makes a little bit more sense. So it'll be interesting with Prime 4.
I'm thinking I know we're not talking about what we think Prime 4 is going to be or whatever. So
we can. Do you want to? Should we do that?
Well, I mean, John,
we have some more topics we have to go through.
Yeah, we got more topics. So
what you should do, Rob, is do a Metroid podcast thing.
I've thought about that with a couple guests, so I might do that.
That'd be cool. We're gonna come back to the super chats before we finish up here. 10 minutes to 11. But let me go over to Nintendo's Creators Program. It has ended. It's interesting because I've tested it and OJ tested it as well, and we both seem to have found that the automatic bots that claim like instantly are not active anymore.
Yes.
And I had this feeling because I was looking because I was part of their creators program. I signed up. I think I submitted 2 videos at one point. I made a total of 3 cents from it. And like, I actually have the receipt that's like, you got paid out. And I looked and it was like 3 cents. It's like, okay, cool. So I cannot submit videos to it anymore. And
I actually got an email from them about half an hour ago that they released their claim on 3 of my videos that were part of the creators program.
There you go.
Like one of them was a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Inkling Striker video, and they released a claim. So now I will get all the.
So then it's no longer claim then.
Yeah, it's just all the money will come to me now instead of going to them and them taking their cuts. So I get $4 in 3 months.
Yeah. So they.
There was, I don't know if you guys, probably a lot of you got the email from them too that they sent out about when the dates happen or whatever. I'm trying to find it on my phone, but I think that they said, to your point, John, that December 6th, I think they said, was the last date they allow anyone to put a video in, or does that sound right?
Well, no, it's done. It's done now, apparently. Because I can't give them a video anymore. I went in, I was like, can I do that still? It's just gone. Like I can go in my back office now and look, and it has no button anymore.
Yeah. But I found it. What it says is all registered videos and channels will end their affiliation with the program by December 6th.
Yes.
That's what it is.
So this is going to cut everyone out anyway. But then
through the date will pay through PayPal by February 2019. So I guess that's when they're going to end paying people, according to Nintendo's email. So
yes, so the whitelist is gone. I had to use the Wayback Machine to go find it again, and the whitelist told us which games we could and couldn't use without them claiming. And that was a whole thing to figure out, but it appears that's gone. I tried it with Mario Tennis. That went through no problem with music, sound, and everything in there. That was about 3 minutes I played at the end of the video. And OJ, you tested Fire Emblem.
Yeah, which is quick to get claimed. And even if you chop the video up, that's the most difficult that I've had with any game from Nintendo is Fire Emblem, which sucks because I love Fire Emblem. Yes. But even if you just snip the gameplay parts, you can chop up them. Anything longer than a couple seconds, claim. Yes. Pretty quick for most people. Maybe some people got away with it. But this time I uploaded the trailer raw and everything was good. At first I was like, okay, well, wait a minute. I thought maybe there was a mistake because they said no trailers, but no, everything was good. And then I put the whole trailer, or almost pretty much the whole trailer, in one of my videos today. When I talked about Ninja Gaiden potentially coming back and the Fire Emblem Expo, and everything was good on there. So for me, as somebody who does a lot of Nintendo content, like 95% on my channel, Nintendo games, this is awesome, that they're able to do this. I mean, I think it was long overdue. Obviously, none of us like this. I mean, I remember talking about it back when Angry Joe was going back and forth, with Nintendo. And I'm like, hey, I support Angry Joe on this thing. And that was, years ago. That was 2015 or something like that, or 2014 when he first started talking about that with Mario Kart. So So I was always on the side like, yo, I mean, come on, this isn't gonna hurt, just to have this. So I mean, it took them way too long, but at the same time, I'm happy that it's not here, and I'm starting to see content creators saying, hey, I'm gonna start making content again, for Nintendo stuff. So that's cool.
That's the biggest thing you're gonna see is people just now, leaning on Nintendo more for that, just to make more Nintendo stuff. So there you go,
Yeah.
content and everything.
Especially with the announced ending being the day before Smash, that should be great for a lot of people.
Yeah, I wonder what that was about, because if you look in there, it's kind of funny. If you look in there, like terms, they specifically name pirated games as being
Yep.
an issue, like
I
being
talked
something
about that.
like.
It's like that was definitely part of their motivation. For
I
sure.
feel like that was there. I am curious what put them over the edge for this, though. I don't know if there was a board meeting and they sat down and they said, look, we're losing more money from free promotion than we did with obviously claiming people's videos. It'd be better for us to not claim videos. And maybe they figured that out with some, long book report that was like 80 pages that didn't need to be that. But you know how that all works with business and stuff. I'm curious how all that came to. Some people are thinking it had maybe something to do with the new president. I don't know. Maybe it was just something they've been working on for a while, and they were like, let's do it.
I think it ultimately just came down to Nintendo of America has been using influencers and brand ambassadors to push a lot of their product over the since basically the Switch launched. And if you wanted them to be part of the Nintendo Creators Program, a lot of these channels were smaller channels where they were paying them out like 20 cents a month. And then, but you were losing bigger influencers unless you had sponsorship deals with them. So ultimately, it probably just came down to the cost of investment wasn't worthwhile to keep it going, because it was really only a program for the Western markets. It wasn't something they had in Japan. So I don't think like NCL actually really had much input of saying, oh, let's get rid of it. I think the Western branches finally said, this isn't worth the investment. It's not worth the time. Get rid of the program. Now we can open up for a lot of these content creators where we can give them product, or they'll cover it on their own, and we'll blossom. And we'll see like games like Smash Brothers get a lot more coverage. Games like Pokemon will get a lot more coverage.
Well, I would want to say Pokemon was never claimed. They were always pretty good about that. The Pokemon company.
Yeah, it's the
I hear you saying though. Like Mario Odyssey, that thing was claimed instantly every time.
I would have covered it way more too. I would have done way more stuff with Mario Odyssey if there wasn't so many crazy copyright. I mean, I talked about it, but like there's only certain footage that you can use that wouldn't get claimed, which was Treehouse footage.
Zelda was bad too.
Yeah, Treehouse footage, but there's a certain part in the Treehouse footage, like when Mario turns into like the 2D part, that part would get claimed. Like they don't even know what they were doing with their, like there'd be like, for example, like even like you can use promotional material now, right?
Yeah.
Like there was parts of their January 2017 presentation. Some of it was claimed, some of it wasn't. Some of it was claimed. Like it would interweave, so it wasn't even clear what you could and couldn't use with what they were saying. So that was the main problem that I had, because like, why are you going to claim promotional material? Wait a minute. If somebody's putting promotional material, that means they're promoting for you. Like it's completely different from just ripping a game straight and just putting it on there.
Yeah.
So,
what about Sean? I know Sean, you had to be excited for this, man.
Oh yeah, extremely, because editing a Nintendo game for review is such a pain in the ass, because if you wanted to avoid their creators program, you would have to do essentially 10-second clips. So if you ever watch
with
any
no audio, definitely.
if you ever watch any Nintendo related video on the channel up until today's Switch video, and I would use Nintendo footage, it would be 10 seconds, and then it would cut back to me, and people would bitch about, why is the editing so bad on this? Why are you using 10-second clips? It's like, I'm trying to, not get screwed over by Nintendo here. Like, I'd like to make a little cheese off this. So yeah, it's definitely very good.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool to see. I'm really happy with this decision. It's something we've all been wanting for a while. So
yes,
it's very, very good to see. Let me ask you guys about Fallout 76 while we're on this. Fallout 76 has been
train wreck.
A slow motion train wreck at this point.
Really
It's amazing.
You guys
I said, how can it get any worse? And then it just keeps getting worse.
You guys want to see my canvas bag? That $200 people who spent. You guys want to see it? You guys want to see my canvas bag? No, I'm joking.
But did you see that?
I was shocked if you had one. I was like, really?
But did you see that they gave canvas bags to influetions?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Like
Man,
people who actually spent 200 didn't get a canvas bag, but influencers got a canvas bag. Yo, shout outs. Shout outs to Canvas, huh?
It's been something else though. I can't even imagine how this is all happening. They're apparently a class action lawsuit was trying to be formed for it. You can't get a refund for the game, and a lot of that has to do with them having their own launcher, not being on Steam, because Steam would have made them do it.
It's crazy because this is like, I mean, Bethesda was probably one of the last companies I ever thought would go through like such a scandal and like just getting their name totally drugged through the shitter online through something. That is definitely like a problem and is their fault. You know, because they seemed like, and even in my last video, I kind of referred to them as like the people's champion of developers up until this problem.
Yes.
And they really felt that way, you know, and all of a sudden this has just changed. I'm not going to compare them to EA, but you get what I'm saying, where EA has had such a long stint of time where people are like, well, they're garbage. But Bethesda has always been the polar opposite of that. And now they're going through something.
At least with development time, I've never seen Bethesda as that paragon of like ultimate awesome development, because even I guess when they announced it and we had the podcast afterwards, we were talking about it, I said I expected it to be filled with bugs, and since they didn't have the like safety net of modders to immediately fix it all for them so they could then release an ultimate edition with outside helps coding involved, because that's what they do, like it was going to be a train wreck. And it was incredible this time because it is way more of a train wreck than I expected. Like I just expected it to be buggy for like 2 years, but now we have all those other extra stuff that's just like, now we need to sue these guys for what they did. And it's like, wow, this is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, it's not looking good.
To have the game itself be such a disaster and a shit show, but then all this other bad PR with lawsuits and canvas bags and all these other things, like I don't think you could have painted like a worse picture for Bethesda. And it sucks. I love Bethesda. I love the Fallout series. I'm one of those people that never cared about the bugs. Like that's just me. I was like, they're buggy, but I love Skyrim. I love Fallout. It's great. But this is just, I don't know. You couldn't have predicted this would happen. So that is.
Yeah, it just keeps getting worse though. Then they offered the person who had that bag that publicized it, had like 10,000 retweets, like 12,000 likes or something, offered them 500 atoms or $5.
Yeah, and then it got revealed that buys you a door and like some plants.
The best part was it's not enough money to buy the postman skin that actually gives you a canvas bag in the game.
Oh,
that's so misguided, man.
That's 700 atoms. So you got to give him another $2.
I don't know, man. Doesn't it seem like it seems like this game was just rushed out, maybe because of the performance of what's it called, of Wolfenstein and the Evil Within. Those didn't do as well. They released those back to back last year, right? So I think they were thinking, man, like we need to get something out for this year, because like last year we didn't do so hot with.
Well, here's where it gets even better. They apparently like actual just straight up copied code was found from Skyrim and Fallout 4, but it wasn't even like, because you reuse code in a lot of games at times, but they didn't even remove like the programmer notes where you have like a little hashtag in there and you could type whatever you want. And they marked it up as like Fallout 70 or Fallout 4 this and Skyrim that. They didn't even remove those. They literally just apparently copy pasted them right over.
Sounds about right.
So it's bad. And you know what it was really funny. There was a comment on one of the videos this week that I read, and it actually talked about Obsidian. And they were talking about how kind of Bethesda's had this fall from grace now, because they're apparently going to reuse that same engine for the next two games coming up, Elder Scrolls 6, right? And Starfield. And they were talking about that. They said, well, Obsidian now has Microsoft as their backing. Yeah. And if you remember during the New Vegas, who you call it, Obsidian missed their Metacritic bonus by a point. Apparently, they would have been paid out at least $1 million more if they had hit an 85 on Metacritic with New Vegas, and Bethesda didn't pay them their bonus because they missed by 1 point, and they had to lay off like 20 people like the next week.
Mm-hmm. I feel like New Vegas had way more problems in it though than Fallout 3, which was the one before that.
Yep.
And I like New Vegas. I think Obsidian did a good job with it, but I don't think it still held a candle to what Bethesda was doing at that time.
Yeah.
Now it could be a different story.
Well, did you read some of the stuff that they talked about, how they were kind of rushed on it and everything, and they had to get it out the door? But
I believe it, but I haven't heard that. No.
But think about that. Think about that for a minute. You have Obsidian, who now has Microsoft behind them. I mean, people are saying they don't have unlimited money, but they have a lot of money they can throw behind a game. So you got Obsidian, who would potentially be making a game that could be similar to Fallout, going up against something like the Elder Scrolls 6 or even Starfield. I would have a feeling that Obsidian is looking at that and is like, oh, I remember those guys. They're the ones who kept our bonus from us, and we've had money problems ever since. Yeah. Let's make a game that's going to push them around now that we have Microsoft behind us. Yeah, that would be funny.
I mean, historically, though, Microsoft hasn't been the most patient company. I mean, they basically kicked Gigantic out the door, then it died. They stopped Scalebound. They've kept going forward.
Dude, they kept Crackdown 3 in development for 8 years.
I mean, Microsoft's philosophy is changing going into the next gen. With Xbox One, they focus on online multiplayer experiences, which is why they looked at something like Scalebound where Platinum wanted to make their experience. Microsoft said, no, we want it multiplayer. They had the clash of the cultures that ultimately ended the partnership and the game's cancellation. And now Microsoft is kind of sitting there saying, we have to change our philosophy going into the next gen. This gen is over. And that's why they're buying up all these companies. They want to offer internally developed games. They want to offer RPGs and all this other stuff.
I think what you're mentioning, Evan, is basically the hard way that they learned what they have to do now. Is that so? That's what I'm thinking. I get what you're saying about Gigantic and others, but now Microsoft's like, let them build their game, and we'll keep them around for a while. Working on it.
I think, kind of to Nate's point too. I think Microsoft is going to come out swinging hard with the next generation.
Oh, they definitely are.
I mean, I'm honestly really excited because I think it's going to be a bloodbath between Sony and Microsoft. I think they're both going to come out swinging, and it's one of those things where, like, we as the gamers, we win because we're going to get all this good stuff.
I'll tell you,
crazy.
I'll tell you this one. I don't think Sony's ready for what Microsoft's about to be doing.
Maybe not. Maybe.
I mean, I don't know. I think Sony might actually remember how last generation at the beginning, Microsoft was caught off guard.
Yeah.
I think this year it's going to be like a complete flip around, and I think Sony's going to be caught off guard.
So
kind of like they were with the PS3.
Yeah. Well, Sony walked into that and they messed themselves up with that thing. They were like, you're going to buy no matter what. No matter what's put in front of you, you're buying it.
Yeah, they were way out of touch at that time. And I actually like the PS3 down the road, but they were way out of touch when they launched it. And
PS3 had a lot of issues because NVIDIA's chip did not perform with what Sony was expecting from it. So then they had Cell tried to...
Yeah, the multi-cell thing was a big problem for them. Right?
Everything that was supposed to go the way... didn't go the way Sony thought, and then they were stuck with this Frankenstein machine that couldn't do anything that they really expected it to do, and they had to get it out, and it was a disaster from like day one.
I feel like with Sony, because I really do think that, John, you could be right that Microsoft really might be ready to just take them down, but I have this weird sneaking suspicion with Sony that part of the reason they're skipping the PlayStation experience and E3, and they seem like they're going dormant, and everyone's like waiting to see what they're doing. I feel like they're not doing this stuff because they're not sure what to do and they're regrouping and scrambling behind the scenes. It could be that, but I have this weird feeling that they're actually crazy confident. They're super prepared. It's all very calculated moves because hopefully they're going to do what we think Microsoft is going to do and just try to decimate like they never have before.
No. Well, let me ask you this. How many SKUs do you think Sony's going to launch with?
I think they should only do one. I don't think the multi-SKU thing's ever really worked.
If they do one, they might be in trouble.
You think?
Yes. Yeah.
So what would they do multi-SKU then? Like, what are you thinking?
A more expensive one and a cheaper one.
Based on like hard drive size, like it's been in the past, or like, I mean, what do you think?
Strength of console, maybe. There's gonna be a very obtainable Xbox more than likely from what the rumors are saying.
See, I was gonna ask if you were going on that thing with the rumors of like the discless Xbox and then the disc using Xbox, and maybe Sony does that. And that this could be the generation, man. Maybe we're finally gonna get there.
Scares the hell out of me.
Well, here's the thing: Microsoft can't go full discless. They can't, because then how would you do backwards compatibility?
Yeah, it's true.
Well, they said like basically if you have like. What were they going to do before? They were
if you go to your Microsoft store, you can exchange it.
Yeah.
That's the dumbest thing I've heard in a long time. Because who's going to be like, I have this physical product that will never disappear on me unless I, lose it or someone steals it. How about I just go hand it over and they'll give me a little voucher that, says they can license the game to me.
Look, I'm not looking forward to like if you're talking about two SKUs, like a more expensive one than weaker one. I mean. I don't know, man. Isn't it better just to kind of? Well, maybe it's better to give people the option from the beginning, right?
Well, Microsoft can because they can manufacture as many as they want, I guess. But it's going to be interesting because that might be Microsoft might start reporting console sales again next year. So it could be interesting when the next generation comes out because.
If they're good, they'll report them.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're not good now, so they don't matter. And then next generation they're good. Oh, okay, they matter now. Here's our sales numbers.
Yeah. Do you guys think there's a chance that either Sony or Microsoft would ever do something like what Nintendo did, where Nintendo went away from disc media altogether? They did this weird different media that was a cartridge. Because
not unless like cart size becomes incredibly cheap and the storage size is massive.
And they technically wouldn't have to because the aim for the Switch is to move around, and I mean you don't really want a disc moving around.
They'll just start packing multiple Blu-rays in again, probably, or they'll go like the Blu-ray X the quad layer Blu-rays.
Mhm.
It's got to be something.
Red
like that.
Ray.
Yeah.
I remember when there were rumors back in the NX days. If you guys remember, there was a rumor that it was going to be like a streaming only machine because it's like there's no disc drive in this thing. Like, what is this? If there's going to be no physical media,
I do think at a time streaming was considered as an option for the Switch. But they realized that the infrastructure is just not there, and they said, "Well, this is dumb. We have to go with cart media or another form." But the cart media is still limiting a certain amount of software releases for Switch.
Yeah, like you were talking about, Nate, without getting any specific at all. You're pretty sure,
that publishers had ready and willing to bring to Switch, and then they said, "Well, the 32 gigabyte cart is too expensive, or the 64 gigabyte cart is not ready, and it's going to be too expensive. Nintendo will not subsidize the cost, so we're not bringing the game until either the costs come down or Nintendo is willing to foot the bill." And unfortunately, there are a handful of high-end games that are not coming to Switch for that reason.
Yeah, at least not until maybe the later years of the Switch when those cart prices are down.
If it even makes financial sense at that
point. That's the problem. Like, I mean, think of like how like Saints Row 3, people are like, what? It's because there's that actually makes sense now, because I think a lot of people want a GTA 5, right? But it's not around. So if I was THQ Nordic, I'd do the same thing. I'd be like, well, we can put Saints Row on that. So yeah, let's do that. if GTA 5 was already announced and coming, they probably wouldn't have done that.
That's one of my biggest hopes for Nintendo, for the future, is like they figure out how to do this cartridge stuff cheaper and bigger sizes for,
Well, that's the prices are coming down year to year.
Yeah,
it'll get there. It's just going to take, it might be next gen Switch, to be honest, by the time we're like, 64 gig carts. That's easy.
Well, I mean, even like big, like I want, whatever it can be, like that. Like, what do we see? Like for obviously SD cards are completely like SD micro, that type of memory is completely different. But like those are getting up to where 400 gigabytes, no problem.
That used to be $250 when that came out. Remember, we're like, oh, we're never gonna get that, and it was like $80 on Black Friday.
Exactly. And like even like 256 was like what, $39.99?
Yeah,
like 256 $39.99 for 256 if you want 128.
128 was $20.
Yeah, $20 for 128. So I mean, I want it to be where it's just like it's completely. I mean, which is going to be tough. I don't think it's going to be something that's easy, but at the same time, I like cartridge media.
I mean, honestly, I don't mind if like here's the thing: if I'm Nintendo and somebody wants to do it, I would just tell them just go all digital. Then just make it digital only. Final Fantasy Maxima was, or Final Fantasy was still digital.
See, now as the publisher, now you're concerned about the Switch has 32 gigabytes.
Yes.
I can't release. Hey, I'll use Red Dead Redemption 2. I can't release a 100 gigabyte game on this because now I have to assume you're buying yourself.
You have to get an SD card,
28 gigabyte micro SD, and I'm using your internal storage, and it just becomes this hodgepodge.
Yeah, Nintendo needs to just start packing those SD cards in. I mean, seriously, just drop a 128 in each one and call it a day. Like, comes with it.
I could see them doing that with a revision if it happens next year. Of here's a 64 gig.
Yeah, just drop it.
Kind of like they did with like the 3DSs. They're like, here's a 2 gigabyte card.
Let's go PS1 Classic.
The junk.
I'm buying it next Monday. I'm gonna go pick it up 10 a.m. at GameStop. I think the person there might be leaving soon, so maybe they'll let me in early to give it to me. But otherwise, I'll wait till 10 a.m. I'll pick it up. I'll come home and I'll take it apart to see what's inside because that'll be interesting. I'm very interested to see what's going on in there. But who's picking it up?
I am.
Yeah,
I have to review it. Like,
so I was
expecting me to review it.
You're just gonna yell at it for like 20 minutes.
Pretty much.
I was definitely planning on it because I think I'm like the only person in the world who thought the library was not too bad. But once I started to hear that the emulation, I guess, isn't good, and like I think 6 or 8 of the games are using poorer versions than what would have been playable on the PS1 or something.
Yeah,
and I heard the interface kind of sucks.
It's very bad. And they're using a free open emulator, which, by the way, I see in the chat Modern Vintage Gamer is getting it. So I'm going to keep an eye on that channel because he's hacking that thing probably day one.
There you go.
I'm in.
Because it's really a bummer, man, because I love the idea. I love that they announced it. When they announced it, I was like, this is badass, man. Like I don't care if they're copying Nintendo. It's like, bring it on. Give me my Atari Jaguar Classic Mini. Like I want all these things to come out. And then to see that this one just really isn't delivering. And most people hate the library, so it's
Modern Vintage Gamer. He said there's a solid CPU. Did they already identify the parts inside?
Apparently, it's already broken street date, so people are picking up their PS1 classics today. But I guess someone said it's based on Android or something.
Drive over there now, John.
Yo, what if it's the Oh yeah, I should check Walmart, see if they have everything register locked. But I'm curious if it's, it's really funny. It could just be using the same hardware that the Super Nintendo Classic and Nintendo Classic are using. That would be really funny. But if it's Android, because it's using what you call it, rearmed, EPCSX rearmed or whatever. So it has to be using something ARM based. So it could be that people were also had the theory that it's like a repurposed, a Vita TV or whatnot. That would have been funny, but I think it's probably just one of the more cheaper chips that they could get, like what's in the Super Nintendo Classic or something, and then just slap it together with. But it has to have a good size of storage in there because they have Metal Gear on it. Solid. So that's the biggest thing. It's going to be
Final Fantasy 7 is like huge.
Oh, it's a 1.6 gigahertz quad core ARM.
We can play the game. What are you eating, RGT?
Well, I got 2 ranch chicken snackers with no ranch because it just makes it a taco from McDonald's, and I got 2 just standard cheeseburgers, but one of the burritos fell out, but I fixed it.
Okay, is that for your Uber Eats from McDonald's?
Yeah, Rezwan just came by and dropped it off.
Oh, okay.
That was the guy's name. I like to identify with the delivery drivers.
Nice.
Hey, they're out there working hard, man.
Yeah.
So I'm getting the PS1 Classic. Sean's getting the PS1 Classic. Is anyone else?
No.
Yeah, I don't think
it's too close to Smash Brothers, and it would put me in a bad mood heading into Smash Brothers. So I'm not going to get it. It's too close.
Smash would be the ultimate pick me up, OJ. It would be like
that's true. But I don't want anything killing my vibes next week, man.
Yeah, I kind of want to play Wild Arms again, but not on this. So
it's kill my vibe. I mean, if Xenogears was on there, then I'd be like, yeah, I'd probably pick it up. But there's no Xenogears.
Okay.
So
fair enough. And then why don't we finish up with the Zelda Skyward Sword rumors before I go over to Super Chats? Yeah, so we had an interesting situation. It was at like a Zelda concert in Osaka, Japan, and Aonuma shows up on stage, mentions Skyward Sword, everyone freaks out. Do you guys think they're remaking Skyward Sword?
I mean, I'm going to address this kind of like the N64 classic rumors.
Mm-hmm.
Will it happen? Probably. Nintendo loves to remaster or HD prior Zeldas. We saw it with Wind Waker. We saw it with Twilight Princess. We saw it even with the 3DS with Ocarina and Majora's Mask. Will it probably happen? Yes. Does it mean it's like the 2019 Zelda that we had to talk about? I would say no. I think the timing of the Game Informer rumor saying we're going to have a new Zelda coming sooner than we think, and then this tease happening kind of made the tease a bigger deal than it actually is.
Right.
I think it's really him saying, oh, yeah, this is something we're considering.
Yes.
It doesn't mean it's coming out in the next year. It could be 2020. It could be 2021. And will it happen? Yes. I just think the tease became a bigger deal than it actually should be treated as.
Yeah, we're still thinking about a Zelda game that's coming up with rumors and everything going around that there is some sort of almost a bridge from this to like whenever the next, Breath of the Wild sized Zelda comes out. But we're thinking that we talked about already. We were thinking it might be more like a top-down traditional Zelda style game at some point.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I never really, I never really took the Skyward Sword thing to be that 2019 Zelda thing, but I definitely absolutely agree. I think they've got to be making this game, and I would think that they might not even be necessarily in early development. I think it might be far away because you have to think that translating that game has got to be super difficult. There's so many different random enemies and moments and control factors and puzzles and pointing things that they'd have to figure out. I feel like it's just a bear to make that game work on the Switch with a control scheme that could be portable and also motion. So yeah, I totally think it's going to whether or not this specifically was saying we are making it now and it is coming and this is my pseudo confirmation. I don't know about that, but I'm totally with you, Nate. I absolutely think it's going to happen. They'd be silly to let that game die on just one console. I mean, they created the problem themselves, you could argue, because of the controls, but they would be they've redone Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, the Master Quest Ocarina, like they've released so many things. They won't let this game die on one console.
So you're saying they should put it on the 3DS then?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, clearly. That's your motion right there.
Would the blowaway moment be like, oh, we're trying it again completely, and they just redid the entire story in the Breath of the Wild engine with the large open world, but with floating islands that you can fly around from?
Well, that'll come out in like a decade.
Oh man.
I mean, like I've said it on like Twitter. If they're going to remake Skyward Sword, or I'll say HD Skyward Sword, I think they have to go with a control scheme similar to that of Metal Gear Rising, where you might have to you have to hold down a button or something so you can go for like the directional sword swipes, because that was such a like design factor to the game. You can't remove it. It's how you fought bosses. It's how every enemy puzzle was all designed around the motion controls. So you can't really just alter that to button presses that simple. So you have to find a way to kind of go like, that's why I think it's Metal Gear Rising type setup would work. But
yeah, I actually, it's funny you say that, because I did a live stream a couple days ago and someone in my chat suggested that same thing. And I'd never thought about it, because my idea was something similar, only without the slowdown aspect of it, where you could just hold like the left trigger or something, and a wheel comes up the same way a weapon wheel would operate, and maybe there's a way to do that really quickly and make it, you select your angle of the sword swipe, and it's tricky. Like the Metal Gear thing could definitely work, and a lot of people also brought up in one of my videos that the touchscreen could work for like slashes and draw.
Yeah, but you have to play. But you have to play it on docked as well. They have to plan for that.
Yeah, so it's really tricky, but I think it'll happen at some point.
Let me go through some of the super chats. John J says, "Love all your channels. Some of you hate when Nintendo is coy with announcements, but we got so much coming. How far out do we need to know?" I guess that depends on the game. Like, we've known about Metroid Prime 4 for a while, but I feel like they had to tell us about it because they were going to tell us about the 3DS version. But I guess sometimes you don't need to know about every single game until it's almost ready to go.
I personally can't stand when we get stuff like 10 years in and out, like, before it was like Final Fantasy 7 remake, Kingdom Hearts. That stuff pisses me the hell off.
How long do we know about Breath of the Wild before it came out?
That took too long too.
I feel like that was a long one, and I'm thinking about it.
But that was because of the Switch, though, because they obviously had to wait for all of that. But like when you announce a game, like, I don't want it to be so long before. So I mean, give me like my rule is like calendar year, right? Like, and within a calendar year, I want to play the game. So
like how Resident Evil Remake 2 did it.
That's fine. Or like how what Xenoblade Chronicles 2 announced in January, releases in December.
Really, any Nintendo release outside of like extreme circumstances, I'll say like Metroid Prime 4. I mean, New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe announced in September, releasing January. Metroid Prime Trilogy potentially in December, releasing in February, March,
my
January.
Favorite part so far.
Dude,
it's usually like
thought of any other game.
So are you saying that there's going to be Metroid Prime Trilogy coming up pretty soon here, Nate?
No. Man. Why would that ever happen?
Oh, okay. I must have heard it wrong.
We're all just theorizing here.
You don't have to worry about saving up.
Hypothetical situation that if it happens, it could release within like 6 months of the announcement time, like other Nintendo games.
There's been other games, Nate. Are you sure you want to use?
Don't have to worry about saving up $60 and potentially spending it in early 2019. Don't worry about any of that.
When did Bayonetta come out?
2030. 30th anniversary of Metroid Prime 1.
When did Bayonetta 1 and 2
That was February, right?
Oh, okay. Cool.
Huh.
Like Bayonetta 1 and 2 announced in December.
We're like 3 minutes to the end of the podcast.
Metroid Prime Trilogy is not confirmed, people. It's hypothetical.
It's not confirmed till they say it.
Clarification.
Yes. Wait, you gotta wait till they announce it, okay? Potentially at the Game Awards on December 6th.
Yes. Jeff Keighley and Reggie Fils-Aimé of Nintendo of America.
Yes.
On stage with a trailer on a screen behind them, broadcasting in your house.
Dude, okay. What do you guys think would happen if there is no Metroid at the Game Awards? Like, I think the reaction would be pretty shocking. Like, to people.
Yeah, because
I know we're not talking realistically that it wouldn't be there, but let's just pretend that there was a situation where that happened.
I would say Reggie has to stop wearing Metroid-related product to anything he is standing next to Jeff Keighley, because first he had the pin and then nothing happened. Then he wears a shirt and nothing happened. Reggie has to be smacked 3 times with a Metroid.
There'd be such a roasting.
Let's see. Here you go. Austin says, love the content you guys make here, but so you know, according to Matt Makes Games website, Celeste was a 2-person team. 2 people made that game. Wow. It's impressive. And it's right next to Red Dead and God of War and Spider-Man. And wow, that's impressive. VG Gaming says, thoughts on Civ 6 for Switch. I actually have not played Civilization 6 yet on the Switch. Anyone else has.
I played it for like 10 minutes.
Okay.
It was good in those 10 minutes I played.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I was never a big Civilization person, so I really couldn't tell you if it's good or not. But people have said that it at least functions well and everything. So, unfortunately, none of us have really played it for a while. So, Sakon 10 says PS1 Classic was built using Nintendo Labo. I think I guess that's a joke. Sean, are you gonna hit any more of those Labo things, man?
No.
Man. Toshi Raniko says, should they start calling the video game announcements instead of awards, the VGA video game announcements? I think the announcements are what a lot of people tune in for. Let's just be honest about that. But and I mean, they have to. I mean, it's just part of the show. You know, they want to do that. I mean, the award show was interesting too, but a lot of people tune in for Game of the Year and then all the announcements. That's basically it. Most people vote on the Game of the Year and then they just tune in to see what's new. But 10 plus announcements, that seems like it's going to fill some time, so that's cool. Brian says, got an idea for Skyward Sword.
He says it later. Right analog stick is just how you slash your sword. Because technically on the Wii, wasn't it only one analog stick anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
because the only way you controlled the camera, if I remember right, was using the trigger to recenter it behind Link every time.
Mhm.
Yeah. So if the right analog stick's completely opened up, you just flick it the direction you want to actually swing.
I think that'd be awkward, though.
Yeah, that'd be
You know?
awkward, man.
I just don't know.
You know, that's why I'm always so wary of these games that try to do these crazy type of motions and stuff. I mean, it's like you want to re-release or something. Like you've got to. I mean, that game was delayed so much just because of the motion. The motion controls made that game take all generation to release.
And that game didn't even that game didn't even really do as well as it could have on the Wii platform. It sold like what 4 million copies.
Like
I don't even
3.2.
I think
3.2-ish.
That's on a system that had an install base of like 100 million.
I mean, it was pirated to hell and back. Like many, like 20 million people played the game or whatever. But like, I mean, I just like when you do stuff like that, it can really bog down development and take a long time. Like when they try to do that, I know they're trying to be innovative and everything, but I mean, like you look back and you're like, man, was it worth it? I don't know. It seems like everybody talks about how great the story is in Skyward Sword and how great the characters are, and like controls whatever. But that was the great thing about Skyward Sword was the dungeons and everything, not necessarily because you're going like this
and it's the introduction. It's the first story, so you get to see it all at the beginning.
And it has Groots.
Yeah,
exactly.
Donkey Kong fan says, off the wall announcement, Nintendo will announce their theme park attractions at Universal Studios. I hope they don't do that. That wouldn't go over well at there. Although I would like to go there at some point when they have them open just to see it, because it sounds like it'd be pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
But I don't know, what are they trying to have that done? Isn't it like 2020 or something like that? 2021?
I think they've started construction, right?
Okay.
Yeah, they've already started construction. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know how long that takes to do, but we're already almost 2019, so I assume they'll be working on it for a while.
As long as I can get like a Samus VR experience, I'm there, man.
That's gonna be an interesting part of Universal Studios to go to. It'll be fun to see.
They just make you get into a little ball and they wrap you up. You have to roll around everywhere.
We want you to really feel like Samus, so make yourself as small as you can.
Real quick, last Juan Salazar, and then we'll do outros and finish up. Do you guys think Metroid Prime has aged well, and do you think it's handling the HD remasters? Blue Point, maybe. I think
Blue Point, I believe, is another PS game.
Is what?
I think Blue Point's busy with the PlayStation 4 remaster.
Yeah, I think we're hoping. I'm hoping it's Metal Gear Solid, but
Blue Point doesn't do Switch
yeah.
stuff.
Who would be doing that? Would be
I would think
Tantalus.
Tantalus, yeah.
Yeah, they'd be great.
They would probably do it.
Or
Didn't
Panic!
Tantalus just did Cities, didn't they?
Oh yeah. What you think? Do you think Retro would do it? Do you think they would spend some time doing it?
Crazy. Yeah, it's like some other team is making Prime 4, but Retro goes back to their 3 games.
I mean, it's their games. They might want to do it, and be like, "Hey, these are our games. We're going to
That
do
would
it."
be the most ideal way to do it.
They have a bunch of divisions, so they could probably have one of the divisions working on it or something.
I will say, to answer his first question though, like I'm probably biased because Metroid Prime is my favorite game of all time, but I think it aged totally fine.
I think it's also going to depend on if they do some like visual upgrades kind of to it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Just for modern displays and stuff that people have their Switch hooked up to.
Yeah.
But I think the gameplay it'll translate well to like modern times. The first one I think is still good, but I'll be curious about the second one, see how that holds up for people. I like the first one a lot though, so I still play in Dolphin.
They'll make the second one easier. They're definitely going to make it easier.
They actually already did that too on the Trilogy collection. That was a big thing that they talked about, is when they ported Metroid Prime 2 into that Trilogy collection on the Wii, they made it easier because some of those Guardian bosses were like so impossible, man. Oh my god. So yeah, they did do that, but they should make it even easier. I think for a lot of people would be a smart thing to do.
Okay. Yeah, and that's everything on Super Chat side. We're good on Discord questions, Evan.
One more Discord question, and it's going to be super easy. Which do you prefer, digital or physical?
Physical.
I play games fully on PC. I do all my stuff on Steam. Physical. Definitely physical.
We're all old men, man. We grew up in the physical age.
You also want to read the fine print, and then you might start leaning towards physical as well.
Yeah, if historically speaking, Valve has said if they've ever shut down Steam, they're going to figure out a way for you to turn it all physical, so you can always have it. But I mean, you don't know. They could just, that's it. It's gone.
Yeah. So it's going to be,
and it's actually as simple as, I don't know if anyone understands this, but if you ever go on one of those websites where you can buy CD keys, some of those are from thefts, and those get reported. And if you put it into your Steam account, your entire account is immediately banned, unable to be turned back on.
That gray market is sketchy. Gotta be careful with that. Let me go through here before we finish up. Nate, you are actually Nate is only 2 subscribers from the 9,500 mark.
Hey,
so Nate,
I think I lost a couple.
Why don't you tell them where they can find you? Oh, you lost him when he started trash talking Sunshine, man.
Sunshine was the
how come Sean didn't lose any? He agreed.
Did he?
Yeah,
he agreed in the melee and then drifted into the bush.
He didn't go on a rant like you did.
I mean, Sean
didn't go on a rant talking about how garbage it was.
And then it was just...
Yeah, Sean was like, yeah. It just faded away slowly. Oh man. Yeah, Nate's only 2 away, so there you go. He's on his way to that Nintendo Ambassadorship.
So that means I'm what, 502 away from a face reveal?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Work on that next week as well. Yeah, so it'll be exciting stuff next week. It'll be fun. But where can they find you, Nate?
They can find me on Twitter at DirectFeedGames. From there is a link to my YouTube channel where I do direct feed footage of Switch, PS4, and Xbox One games, and do visual comparisons and do undocked direct feed footage of Switch games. So if you want to see how the game will look on your Switch, you can find out.
Yep. Oh, there you go. You're only 1 away from 9,500. Very nice. And now that the creators program is kind of gone, it'll be a little easier because you won't get auto claimed anymore on a lot of stuff. So there you go. Oh, there you go. You went up 9,500. Very good. So Nate's going to close that window now.
So now just reveal half your face.
Yeah. What about Rob? He was kind enough to join us tonight, talk about Metroid and all kinds of stuff. Where can they find you, Rob?
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube at Rule of 2 Review. It's Rule of the number 2 Review, and same on Twitter. So
cool. All right, very good.
Yeah,
very
thanks for having me on.
Yep. Everyone's link is down in the chat in the description as well if you want to check anyone out that's here. And then OJ, where can they find you?
Yeah, just right here on YouTube and also on Twitter, Player Essence. I'll be doing a ton of Smash Brothers stuff next week. We're going to be doing a lot of different guides, how to get better. I know a lot of you guys probably don't know how to play Smash that well, so I can help you guys out with that. So head over to the channel. We'll be doing guides like on Sheik, on Richter, on all of the new characters, on all that.
I don't know how to play Smash. Last time I played Smash was Melee, and even then I didn't like it as much. I liked the first one.
Well, we're gonna be doing guys to get you like into the mindset. Once you understand how Smash works, like the rock paper scissors, then it's all up from there. Most people don't understand the rock paper scissors. Once you get that down, it's cool. I even got a guide for Smash 4 that kind of tells you that on there. So we're gonna be doing a lot of Smash 4 or Smash 5 stuff. So check out the channel. I also have a Smash giveaway on December 5th. We'll be giving that game away. So I'll link that to where you guys can.
People are also asking about a raid. I don't know if we know anybody that you guys want to do a raid for.
Isn't someone supposed to buy me Smash Brothers because they said the Grinch leak was real?
That's right.
They're supposed to buy you it, and then you're supposed to send it to me, I think.
Yeah, I don't think the guy ever came back.
No,
that's right. I remember that. Yeah, like 3 people bet you, and that person like even went a little further and was like,
yeah. Then they got proven wrong, and they never showed up.
I remember that. Well, we have the audio of it. Because we have you even said their name on here, like their handle.
I think about a half of the internet backed into the bushes after that whole thing happened. It was pretty crazy.
Oh man, that's how fast we move on. We were talking about Blizzard, now we're talking about
Yeah.
Fallout. Who knows what we're talking about next week?
Yeah. Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah. What about Sean? Where can they find you, Sean?
You can find me at RGT85. I mean, I don't even know what's happening. It's stupid PlayStation Classics sometime this week and other stuff. So yeah, there's gonna be a bunch of stuff.
Do we have anyone we wanted to raid as well before we finish up? Any ideas?
If I started a separate live stream, would you guys raid my separate live stream?
Yeah, sure. Were you gonna talk about Metroid and stuff?
Sure, yeah.
It would just be the aftermath of this. You would just be
Yeah.
streaming that.
Yeah, set up your
Like, so I'm not done talking about Metroid, so
set up your scheduled stream now, and we'll do a link and people can go see it.
raidception. I actually can't. I'm going out on a date
Oh.
with my girlfriend after this.
Oh, you ruined it.
I know.
I mean, I can.
the
I mean,
worst.
I got some people that are streaming that we can link.
Okay,
that I
yeah.
can link.
Sure. Sounds good.
Um,
Sounds good. What about Evan? Where can they find you, man?
Just on Twitter. You've probably seen my mod name going through the chat. It's Kimmerix Project. Just check me out on Twitter there. I announce everything there.
You have a monitor review coming up.
Yep. I had to re-record it today, and I'm gonna try to edit it over the next day or two.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, it's Evan got to review a really sweet monitor that's nicer than any monitor I own as well. So it's like a ridiculous 4K monitor. So
31.5 inch 4K HDR. Yep.
you're playing Switch and PlayStation 4 Pro and stuff on there. So you beat all of Spider-Man on there in like 2 days.
Yep.
So Evan's into console gaming now.
Well, I haven't gone back.
That's gonna do it here though, guys. Oh, we have the raid down there. We got the raid link.
There it is.
Very good, very good. Oh, it's Avedon.
Avedon, yeah.
Cool. All right, very good. Go check him out. Say hi. Put a like on his video, and that's gonna do it here tonight, guys. We'll see you next Saturday night, 9 p.m. Eastern time, where we'll probably be talking about all of the announcements that took place at the Game Awards and having fun. We'll see you guys then.